always seem to start right when we're discussing.
Yeah, it is a shtick.
You know,
it would be
doing it.
Yeah, I guess so. It would be funnier if we were just talking about organic things, like we ride for the Tim, and this one's organic. We always screw it up. 10 seconds, Haps. 10 seconds is not enough, and maybe a little sound, something like "You're about to go live, you idiot! Stop talking."
That and don't hit the button. Just saying.
Hi, we're the Northwest Brewmeisters. My name's Jamie.
I'm Steve.
How are you? We're just two guys who like to brew beer.
I think you should too.
Excellent. All right, so today's interesting. Today we're going to be brewing a Newcastle clone. And in honor of the Newcastle clone, we're drinking something totally different. This is an Irish Red.
Irish Red.
Yeah, that we brewed
6 weeks ago?
About a month.
Something like that, yeah.
It's a little green, but it tastes really good.
Yeah, green as in it's not quite fully conditioned, but it's definitely drinkable.
Totally drinkable.
I mean, I have some nice activity in there, so it might be done by now.
Ooh,
I don't know, we'll see.
I have micro bubbles too. Tiny bubbles.
Didn't quite condition and carbonate / condition. You can use them interchangeably for almost 2 weeks now. Not quite the 14 days, but I think we're sitting about maybe 11 or 12 days now under carbonation. So
yeah, well, that's pretty good. So yesterday we were on briefly because we put our experimental beer in a keg. Not a real big experiment, but for us it was kind of a cool step,
right? Because
we moved from recipes to doing a beer that we made, as in like we thought it up. We're very creative. We added 1 hops to the hop schedule.
Right.
We feel pretty accomplished with that. It's like we've kind of arrived now. You know, we altered a recipe.
Got to start somewhere, right?
All right, maybe that's not arrived. Hey, you know what? We should get the water going.
All right.
So,
can you just tell them what we're doing?
What are we doing?
Newcastle.
Newcastle clone, right. So we're doing a Newcastle clone. This is not from our local brew store. Let me check really quick. Where did I steal this from? I stole it from homebrewersassociation.org. And there's a Newcastle clone there. It is, the actual recipe is an all-grain recipe, and it is actually 2 beers, so it's a 10-gallon recipe, which is not a lot of beer. Come on, 10 gallons. That's like, what, a weekend?
Could be.
A fun weekend. A weekend not to remember.
I would say a memorable weekend, but probably not.
No, not a memorable weekend. I mean, maybe somebody watching would remember it.
Oh, yeah.
In any case, the true recipe is a 2-beer recipe. You actually make 2 beers, and then you blend them together, and then you're supposed to get a proper final gravity. And if you don't, of course, you can adjust your final gravity by adding corn sugar or water, depending. And there's formulas out there. And with that beer, actually, final gravity is probably really important. I don't know for a fact, but I would think it is, just to make sure that it was actual Newcastle clone. But we're not doing that beer.
Oh, that, and then you get the right ABV, the target ABV. That's what gravity really.
Yeah, and of course, ABV is not a big thing for us. Basically, it just lets us know if we can drive home. That's the main reason we're concerned.
No, we don't condone drinking and driving.
No, we don't. Actually, we really don't. There's too many bad things. Drink at home, folks. Invite your friends over. Have a spare room or a living room. Or just be really comfortable with your friends sleeping in your bed.
No.
Okay. Spare room it is. Tents, maybe
Tents,
drink in the summer. Tents in Michigan in the winter.
It's probably not a good idea.
Buy an RV. It's worth it. You are drinking beer. Beer is important. Buy the RV.
All right. We ready to get started?
Yeah. Hopefully this has propane in it. Pretty sure it does. Oops, that's closing.
Righty-tighty, bro.
Right.
Okay. It's not responding. There it is.
There we go. Lemon!
Okay.
You want to start hot or start cold?
Oh, I don't care. Flip a coin.
Well, tell you what, since we didn't bring the grain bag out here yet,
we'll start it at sleeping temperature.
We'll start when it gets there. Thermometer should be inside.
Okay.
You gonna go grab it?
Yeah, I'll grab it.
Okay, so where was I? I was talking about something.
Oh, you're describing our beer, what we're making.
Right, Newcastle clone. And then we're talking about RVs and sleeping in tents in Michigan during the winter. In any case, so Newcastle clone. My wife, we discovered Newcastle. I don't know, a few months ago, we were drinking and we're like, hey, let's try a Newcastle. We had never tried it. We being me and my wife. And my wife loves it. So I brew beer, and it's running roughly $45 a case for Newcastle up here because it's not real prevalent here for some reason. It's not in the stores. So we got to buy it from our specialty store, and he runs down and does a run every so often, and that's nice. But still, it's $45 for a case. And we drink a lot of beer. So I thought, hey, let's make a clone. That sounds like a good idea. So here we are, making a clone. Got the thermometer. Sweet. All right, thermometer. Thermometer sounds so much more scientific, doesn't it? Thermometer.
Yes.
Like thermodynamics, thermocouplers. Thermo. Just say it.
How about power converters?
Well, yeah, power converter.
The astute watcher will catch my joke.
I'm suddenly feeling not very astute because I didn't catch the joke.
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Power converters. What is that? You're floaties, man.
It'll be okay. They'll boil out.
You're a floaty.
Oh, what is that?
Looks like a piece of lint.
That is a piece of lint.
Whatever that is. Pepper?
Yeah.
Come here.
Now they're watching us chase.
I know.
I'm really thinking that's not important. I mean, seriously, like, not being flippant, but it is a little thing. Yeah, like getting in that with your finger. There you go. It's not. Right. We're gonna boil this, dude.
I know. That's fine. Let's see what the temperature is. 73 degrees.
Oh.
So nice. What's our target? The usual, or is this one a little different since you said this recipe came from a different source?
Let me check. So the recipe is not super specific. I mean, literally.
Usually we aim for anywhere between 150 and 160 Fahrenheit.
Well, there you go. So there are directions, all right? So steep the crushed grains, which are inside in a paper bag on the table, at 150 degrees for 30 minutes. So that's standard. That's standard. Just like all the recipes we've done before. 150 to 160 for about half an hour. Remove the grains. Now here's one. Rinse with 170 degree Fahrenheit water. Now, did you read the thing on rinsing? Did we talk about rinsing and squeezing and all that?
Vaguely. I don't quite remember. Oh, I know we talked about, we looked up squeezing, why you don't squeeze it.
Right.
And it was the same principle of like a tea bag, like a cup of tea. You don't squeeze it because it adds extra acids and flavors.
Tannins. It's actually tannins.
Yeah, tannins. It adds extra flavors that you don't want.
Again, with off flavors.
Right. There's that word again.
As opposed to on flavors.
But I've heard of people rinsing, the sock with water, but I don't know how important it is, honestly.
I'm saying
I think this had some dust in it, man.
I washed it this morning. Morning before
there
church,
was a bag.
Washed it. Yeah, that's true.
That plastic bag with the other stuff might have had dust on it. You know what I mean? It's fine.
Okay, go to your house, get more tap water. We'll dump this. Okay, fine. We'll be fine. Thank you. I'm pretty sure we'll be okay.
We'll be fine.
All right. We're gonna rack it out. It's none of that. It's gonna be wonderful.
It's always wonderful.
It is. All right. Where was I? I was talking about something.
The beer. Squeezing. We're talking about squeezing. It calls to rinse the.
So this recipe calls to rinse. I think that we will be able to not do that and be okay.
I'm sure we'll be fine. We'll just let it drain like we normally do, and
not
squeeze it, but we'll just let it drain through gravity.
Yeah, just let it drain because I don't know. I just think all of our other recipes have just said take it out and pop it right in.
Right.
And then we start. Change some things. Change settings.
All right. Monitor the temperature.
Never. Please don't turn off. Thank you.
So we're at 87 and climbing, of course.
All right.
Getting there. Do we need to add more flame, or you think we're good there?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. What do you want to do, man? It's harder to see the flame level with your burner. Can you see it from your angle?
No.
Very well.
I can hear it.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's about the best we're gonna do with that.
I'm just hoping we don't heat the hams up too much because we still got to take it off to get our. Oh no, it's dry. It's dry malt extract, isn't it?
It is dry malt,
Yeah.
but we should still. You could still scorch that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
but we have an aiming flame now, so we could just turn the flame off.
True.
Oh, by the way, show them.
That was a jab at me, by the way.
That was not a jab.
Oh, it was totally a jab, but it was a good jab.
It was okay.
No, it's been funny because for like the last, I don't know, 5 brew days, I keep forgetting to get an aim flame for my house, which I have one now. So
Yes, has an aiming flame. Well done.
Next time we brew at my place, I actually have an aim flame, excuse me, so Jamie can save some of his arm hairs.
I have remarkably smooth arms for a hairy, manly man. Because we burn them off every time we light the burner at Steve's house.
It's fun. Well, not fun for.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's
me.
fun for you.
So, Mr. Jamie here thought he'd get one on me.
Yeah. So
Go ahead. You start.
All right.
Go ahead.
So on Sundays, here's our routine on Sundays, right? I am pretty religious about going to church, which I know that sounds redundant, but think of it. I go to church. I don't miss church. Church is an hour away. So every Sunday when we do these broadcasts, it's utter pandemonium before we hit go on the camera. It really is.
And you always catch the tail end of it because we're still discussing the production.
Yes, we're discussing what we're supposed to be doing.
I think we should keep doing that because it's kind of funny.
Yeah, well, I guess so.
It's a pre-show.
It's a pre-show. Yeah, you get special behind-the-scene access, only available to everyone.
True.
That's well, it's kind of like the idol shows, you know. They always or the talent shows. Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent.
All right, you kind of see.
They always show that backstage stuff, you know. It's all drama. In any case, what was I speaking about? So,
the pandemonium of our preparation.
So Steve has most of the gear, most of our most recent gear, and the cool toys. We really should buy 2 complete brew setups, but we don't because we always brew together. And so why spend extra money when it's like, for example, the funnel today.
The one funnel we share.
We share a funnel. We actually have 2 kettles now. We were sharing a kettle for the longest time.
Yeah, 2 kettles, 2 burners.
Yeah.
You know.
We're slowly building up to 2 full setups. But we're not there yet. So that means that when we switch brew locations, like we're not in Steve's garage today, we're out in my front porch area, patio area. And
See if I'll get him. You keep talking.
Okay, I'll keep talking. Your fixation with these floaties is amusing to be honest.
Semicolon, brother.
Semicolon. Semicolon. Software engineers out there will get that one. All right. So anyhow, I head back from church, right? And I sent him a text message say, hey, rolling north, be there in about an hour. And he's like, roger that. Or actually said, all right, laddie, which
Said, aye, laddie.
Which, don't let the hat fool you. Neither of us are Irish or Scottish or of any ethnicity that uses the term laddie.
Well, my distant ancestors are Irish. I'm a Kennedy. No, my last name is not Kennedy, but my grandfather's last name was Kennedy. So I have some Irish descent. Anyway.
Man, I wish we were closer to the Kennedys. We could use that.
Yeah, right?
I'm not proud. So anyhow, anyway, so I'm heading north, and he says, aye, laddie. And then he says, yada, yada, yada.
Just like that.
Bring in the thermometer. It's the only thing I think that I need. It comes
Which
over.
Was obviously not the only thing, as we'll get to.
I drive north, and I'm like, all right, he's ready. And then I like, wait
a minute.
What about the water? So I live out of town. He lives in town. All right, so he has nice city water. I have hard well water, like beat you in the head, hurt you hard water. So it has flavor. You want to talk about off flavors? You know, I don't have a sophisticated palate, but even I would not make beer out of our water. We use it for washing and watering things and cleaning, cooking rice. It doesn't seem to be too bad, but we don't, not for beverages. We use bottled water out here. It's the way of the world now, you know? In any case, so I'm like, how about this? This. And I'm like, funnel, 6 gallons of water. And a little while later, oh, don't forget the wort chiller. Clean bucket for holding things in.
So
And then I say, Pocket Constitution.
So I'm already
So
on
he-
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because I'm already on the road because I'd actually thought about these things, not the Constitution, but I already thought about these things because as I was getting the funnel, I was like, oh, we're gonna need this, this, and this, and so I beat him to the punch, even though he was, trying to remind me of what we needed, and so he said a pocket copy of the Constitution, and at first I was just like, oh, haha, yeah, the kitchen sink kind of joke. Well, we get here, and it just turns out I actually have a pocket copy of the Constitution. I forgot I'd had this thing; it was in my glove compartment. So this little bugger here made it to the
Zing! All right.
Really by accident, though.
I didn't really mean pocket copy of the Constitution, but hey, I got one.
Ask and you shall receive. This was a gift from an old command master chief. I used to be in the Navy, and he gave it to me, and I put it in my glove compartment. This thing's probably 7, 8 years old, and I totally forgot it was in there. So just coincidentally and very funny, I have a pocket copy of the Constitution that he said I should bring.
There. 7 years old, huh?
So, yeah.
They probably have a revised edition at this point.
What, another amendment maybe? Yeah, I get it.
We'll be here all week. Or maybe not.
Maybe.
All right. What are we sitting at for temperature?
So that was our funny moment of the day.
We thought it was funny.
Right? We are at over 121, so we're getting there.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go get the grains.
Okay. Sounds
So
good.
we should do that.
So I can't really see our monitoring. I don't know if the sun is right in my eyes. So if anybody's talking to us, I got to get up and take a look.
Use your phone and log on the app.
That gives us a false, false bravado there, man. Oh, we got more viewers. Wait, it's us. All right, we're getting there. I'm going to actually turn the heat down just a little bit because we want to maintain temperature and between 150 and 160 and not let it get too hot. Yeah, we're almost at 130 now, bro. So.
Well, we might consider.
Yeah, I just put the heat down a little bit.
Slowing down the heat because you can zip right past the target.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing, so we can kind of keep it a little more controlled like we've been doing. Ooh, what do we have in here? Let's do an unbagging.
An unbagging.
All right, we have our grains.
Specialty grains. We should read those.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's for fun. It'd be easier if there wasn't bright, shiny sun.
Smells like the cereal grape nuts for anybody who might know what that cereal is.
All right. Now, I don't know what all these are. Maybe some people know these things.
I can't see it.
Well, that's okay. I'm going to read it. So we got our 5.5 pounds. Go ahead and dry malt extract.
Oh, yeah. Look at these things. Do you malt extract? Do you even malt extract?
Do you even malt extract?
Ooh, really?
I see that.
I mean, come on, man.
They're labeled because you get pulled over with those. And
I know, right?
An interesting discussion.
That would be funny.
All right. Seriously, it's for beer. Come with me, son. All right. So, 5.5 pounds light dry malt extract, 12 ounces, and this is all ground up and mixed in.
Right.
12 ounces, 55 degree L crystal malt. I think that's 55 degree. That's what, maybe we should look up what that, I know. It's just like a temperature, right? 55 degree. That's what it looks like.
Oh,
we should look up and see what that means in the industry, though.
Sure.
So 1.5 ounces of black malt, 1.5 ounces of chocolate malt, 4 ounces of torrefied wheat. Homebrewersassociation.org. Just take a note. Wheat is spelled W-H-E-A-T, not W-E-H-A-T. Unless they really meant wheat, in which we're done, because we did not put wheat in this. We put wheat.
Uh-oh.
Can you make beer out of quinoa?
We should try it.
I bet you could. It's like ancient grain.
Ancient Chinese secret.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to take this sweatshirt off soon. I'm dying here.
I know, the sun is like baking us right now. It was like half an hour ago, it was perfectly overcast and cool. It was beautiful.
And then all the clouds left. All right, so 4 ounces torrefied wheat, 1 ounce East Kent Golding hops in the fridge, another ounce East Kent Golding hops in the fridge, 1 teaspoon Irish moss.
I didn't see that. But Irish moss isn't really for, just for, was it clarifying?
Yeah.
It was for clarifying, yeah. You don't really need it for flavor or anything. It's not like an ingredient that's going to go into the beer.
So I guess the way that Ben was saying, yeah, little bugs. That is the way that Ben was talking is like you add it, and then he says what you do is you stir really fast, like get it whipping, like whirlpool.
Okay.
Let it go, and what it should do is get all your sludge and stuff into a cone in the middle. And then check it out. He said instead of pouring into the fermenter, you auto siphon into the fermenter. So
wow.
So all the hops, all the sludge that's left over from this stays there. So your beer is more clear right from the beginning.
Right. Okay.
And so we talked a little while longer, and then we also said, and really it's just a preference thing. It's not super important. You can put the sludge in your fermenter like we do. And then you just rack it out later. So
we're almost there. We're at 145.
Okay.
I just adjusted the temperature a little bit more, or not the temperature, but the flame.
All right.
Try to get you.
So why don't we go ahead and tie that bag?
Okay. That's reference temperature. Yeah, we're close, man.
Yeah, just let it go for a bit, though. So we still have not really, we've not come to a decision on whether it is super beneficial to preheat your water before you steep your specialty grains, or to start cold and allow it all to come up through the various temperature cycles.
You need to adjust that, or is it?
No, you got that one.
Really good.
Perfect. Good job, man.
Make it a little bit down. There we go. Just make sure all the grains are wet.
It'll be okay. It's like a sponge. Yes, exactly.
Just like that.
Yep. Good sound. Do it again. Nice.
I should be in show business.
You should be like that. Who's the police academy guy?
Michael Winslow.
Yes, you should be. You're like a white Michael Winslow.
No, not even close.
No, not really.
That dude is good at what he does.
He is. Actually, he is. He's amazing.
He actually still has a comedy routine. He still does.
Does he really?
Yeah, involves his sounds, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's his shtick. But at the same time, that's also his skill. You know what I was talking about skills that people just kind of you don't ever think about, right? Whistling.
Oh, that's true.
Have you ever heard some of those people that take whistling to a musical?
Yeah, they can sound just like a bird. You know. Really...
Yeah, I mean, they do amazing things. I mean. They must be great kissers. Think about it.
Maybe.
I mean, that's a lot of lip technique.
Oh, you know what we didn't do yet? Start the timer.
Wow, we should probably do that.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do that on your phone?
Yes.
It's a brand new phone.
I know how to do it. No, I sat for like hours playing with this thing after I got it.
Wow, you have more fascination with your phone than I do.
Well, I'm a convert. I recently converted from an Android to my first iPhone. It is. It's going.
Okay.
I set the timer. I converted to an iPhone, and from an Android, you know, I've had probably 8 Androids over the years. My first iPhone, and so obviously, at a 10,000-foot view, it does all the same stuff. But how you get the certain things and how you do certain things are definitely different. And so I just sat there and played with it for a couple of days, just learning all the, you know, where all the settings were, and just kind of getting used to finding stuff because it's a little intuitively different than an Android. You know what I mean? Once you get past the surface, it's very different. Yeah.
It is pretty intuitive, you know, but at the same time, there's like these buried features.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You got to play with it, and it's like, oh, you can do this, and it's like, wow, it's really cool. Pointless, but it's really cool.
Or there were like. Change the setting. I forget what it was. It was like 3 layers deep into the settings. It's like, oh, there you are. You know, whatever it was. If it was something I was trying to turn off, you know, that I didn't want it to do on its own.
Location services.
Probably location.
I always have to look for location. It takes me 5 minutes to find location.
Probably like telling background apps not to refresh unless they're on Wi-Fi. That kind of stuff. You know, just so I don't use my data. I pay for my data, so I'm still one of those people in the dark ages that pays for data.
Well, I pay. I pay for my data.
Yeah, I know.
Like I got 1 gig, but I pay for it. It's $15, right? I don't have unlimited data. I do have unlimited data, but it's metered. So if I
go up to certain increments, I get an automatic charge. Like the first 0 to X amount of megabytes is this much, and then between this and this is this much on the bill. So it's incremental based off my consumption.
Well, I guess.
Same with my text messages. Like 0 through like 100, it's like $3 for the month. And if I go over 100, then it jumps up to like maybe $6 for text messages. Now I can change my plan. My company has a new plan now where you can, my text and talk time will be unlimited, but I still have to pay for data. But I can set thresholds like 1 gig, 5 gigs, 10 gigs, unlimited. They have unlimited as well. A little higher than 155. Let me take it down just a hair.
Yeah, I was just thinking, that's probably getting pretty warm.
Yeah, we're actually a little bit high.
Yeah, I figured. We turn it off because we have
an aim and flame.
An aim and flame. Boing, boing, boing.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Super mature.
It works, man. We're having fun.
Yeah, we need to let that cool for a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. Just kind of sway this back around in a little bit. It'll release some of that heat.
That works for me.
And what we've done, we did go over the temperature a little bit because we're yakking and not paying attention, which is fine. But it's not going to affect the beer that much.
Hopefully not.
Now, I wouldn't do the whole boil or the whole steeping at such high temperatures. But we killed the fire. I'm just doing this to kind of release some of that heat.
Things got a lot.
We're dropping now. We're good.
Things got a lot colder, a lot faster in December.
I know, right? Look, the sun is going away again.
Oh, good, because I was really starting to sweat.
I'm starting to cook, yeah. All right.
So, what were we talking about? What were we talking about? Man, I lose train of thought. I must be getting Alzheimer's at the age of 47. You know what we should talk about?
What's that?
We should talk about local things.
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
The concept of locality.
Oh.
I'm being vague and deep and stupid on purpose. No, but seriously, here's what I'm talking about, all right? So right now, we're on Hacks, right? And we're broadcasting on YouTube, we're broadcasting on Twitter, and we're broadcasting on Facebook all at the same time.
Sure.
To the entire world, right?
Right.
Let's talk about the app that you're building for me. All right. By the way, Steve's a software engineer. Get him up. He's amazing. You'll see my app soon. But if you're in Minneapolis, don't use it because I'm not delivering eggs to Minneapolis. So we can talk about the app, right? Because that's not a big deal.
Okay.
So we do have a kind of a policy. We're not going to tell you where we're at exactly, but we're in the Pacific Northwest. Anyway, so the app is a very local thing, right? So, like, it should probably somewhere on the app, that's one of the things we should do as we fine-tune it, is say something about, like, look, this is for this, please.
This region-only type thing.
Yeah, if you're in Minneapolis, don't order, because I am not delivering 1 dozen eggs to Minneapolis. Right. I'm sorry.
It won't be on a store, like an app store or a Play Store if you're an Android user. It's not that kind of app.
Tell them what it is.
Well, it's called a progressive web app, so it's going to have.
I didn't know.
It'll look just like a website, but it'll give you the ability to download it to your devices, and it'll put a tile on your apps, and then you can run the app locally on your phone, just like this is if you had gone to the website. A little convenience thing.
All right. So
it makes it universal in the sense, and that way, someone who's not an iOS developer or vice versa can get their app out there to as many people as possible, which is kind of funny because it's not meant for the world, it's meant for the region.
Right, but here's what I'm talking about. So this is a kind of philosophical conversation while we're letting this do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the idea that, so when the internet first came out, it was kind of mainly a global thing, right? People with websites were like big people, and it was all global. 159 degrees. That's good.
Very good. Yep.
Yeah, we're right in there. Just keep monitoring as we talk.
Absolutely.
So anyhow, so it's this global thing. But now, think about it, man. Websites are absolutely local.
A lot of times, sure.
No, just think about it. Just like, Facebook pages, right? A lot of people don't have their own websites. They just have Facebook pages, which is dumb, by the way. If you're a person and you have a business or presence, you need your own website. The world's very black and white for me. That's how I feel. All right. I have my own website. You have yours? Mm-hmm. Huh? I have a delicious brew. Do you have a delicious brew? If you don't, leave the app now. Don't worry, we're not offended. Go get one. Come back. You got to drive to town to do it? It's okay. We're going to be here for another hour and a half, 2 hours. We do long broadcasts. All right. The point being, websites are local now. If you think about it, going to a website is just like going to a store. So you still got the big websites, right? So Amazon. Amazon is analogous to the old Sears Roebuck catalog, right?
Everything.
Right. So the old Sears Roebuck catalog was a national thing, and they sent it out, and you ordered out of the Sears Roebuck catalog, and maybe it came to your local Sears or maybe to your house. I don't know. I was like 8 when the Sears Roebuck catalog was popular. Right?
Oh, yeah, I get you.
But I remember around Christmas time going through the toy section on that thing.
Oh, yeah. Toy section.
So much fun. So anyhow.
What happened?
Oh, just
some kind of bird, yeah.
A bald eagle just flew through my yard.
Oh.
Which some of you might be like, ooh, that's so awesome. I have chickens. It's not awesome.
Hence the reason he's getting an app. But we'll get to that.
Right. That's the eggs app. I don't actually want to talk about the eggs app unless you want to talk about the eggs app.
I'm okay with you.
I think the eggs app is amazing. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Well, check it out. Let's talk about it.
I know, but he made it so that like you log into the app or you fire up the app. There's no login required, right? So you fire up your app and it says, hello, psst, got eggs. And then you click the order button. I obviously don't know this app as well as I should since it's my app. But
that was just placeholder stuff.
Okay, that's okay. It's beautiful. I love it. Here's the cool part. You get the order page with all the fields, name, email, how many eggs you want. And at the very top, it says there are 10 dozen eggs available. And when you order, you hit order, and it updates, and it says there's 8 dozen eggs available right then, which is so cool because that's one of the problems we have right now. My kids actually sell the eggs, right? I don't sell the eggs. I have a job other than brewing beer and writing music and being retired from the Navy. So I have a regular job, but this is something to teach my kids about making money and saving money and spending money and working for money, all these fun things.
All through technology.
Right. So the point is that my kiddo is a cutthroat capitalist. If you buy the eggs first, he doesn't care that somebody else wanted eggs. They weren't fast enough. However, I'm not quite so cutthroat. I think people should be able to call you on a Saturday before we bring eggs to church. We sell a lot of eggs at church. And I think people should be able to say, hey, would you bring me a dozen eggs? Pre-order, as it were.
Right.
Order eggs. And then you should not sell all your eggs to the first person, but say, you may have a dozen because Janine already asked for a dozen eggs, and I have to save this dozen for her. Anyways, that was the genesis. That's why I wanted the app. And who knows? Maybe in the future we'll have 7,000 chickens, and that's what we'll do. Yeah. We'll brew beer and sell eggs. Yeah. Now, back to locality. I'm actually going somewhere else with this whole thing. Okay. So the idea is, so that's a very local app, right? It's only for this town and obviously down south in the town where our church is, because
pretty much anybody that goes to your church can.
Right. It would be useful for them. But it won't be useful for someone in Chicago, right? So they're actually, that whole discussion about the App Store or Google Play, it would be pointless to put it there. I mean, why would you do that? Because really, it's just for this local thing.
Right.
Because this whole concept that websites are a local thing now, right? The Starbucks down in Seattle, not the Starbucks, but the bookstore that lost its lawsuit trying to keep its name. It can have its own app, pick a local store. Well, look at our brew supplies, Northwest Brewers.
Right.
They have their own website, right? Now, the entire world can look at their website. But really, the purpose of that website is just for the local
for us,
geographic area that they serve.
19 minutes left, by the way.
Okay. Now, are you ready for where I'm going with this?
Yes. Let's hear it.
All right. I have a friend who happens to be a pretty good software engineer. And he might be developing now that he didn't want to reveal because he didn't want someone to steal his idea. But someone already stole his idea. So maybe we should make the app for the local area. Serious. Make your app start really local. You can expand, right? Make it scalable. But think about that.
It was already going to be scalable because it would already it would already know where you're at because your location.
Someone said hi. Who we got?
Hello.
Oh, it's Silver.
Oh, Silver Energizer. Hey, welcome back.
Do we know you, Silver Energizer, by the way? We saw you yesterday.
We asked because I have a nephew who has Energizer in his name as well. We wonder if you might be him with a different name. So
yes. Are you the Silver Energizer here and some other sort of Energizer somewhere else? We're looking at the wrong screen. We should.
I know, right? Our viewers are like, they keep looking over there.
Yeah, the monitor's over here. All right. Most professional broadcast this side of the Columbia River. That's us. All right. So,
squirrel moment.
So anyhow,
right?
Well,
yeah, you're talking about the beer app being local, which it already was. You know, it would already be local to whoever's using it based off their zip code or their location data. Now, granted, the app was going to be somewhat dependent on your location, and you would have to authorize that if you want it to work to its fullest. But I would also. What's he say?
Yeah, we don't know him. Hey, well, in that case, thank you very much for brewing. We're doing the same thing. Thank you very much for coming out. We're obviously not working off my iPad today. We're working off a laptop and a webcam. Hey, thank you very much for coming out. Appreciate it. That's cool.
Are you a brewer? Are you just here to learn or to see what it's all about? Or we're going to delay, so
we're gonna bounce back and forth. We'll answer questions.
Right.
So, anyways, I'm just thinking, push it hard for just the local area, just the county.
Okay.
Like just the county. So really, you're like, hey, you go to our local tap houses and stuff, and like make up a business card or some little thing. Just say, hey, you put this, just push people, because for one thing,
it'd be a sales type thing. It's necessary.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing you could do with that is that you could put a lot of information that you could do without a team, right?
Right.
All right. So you have no idea what Pete's Pub in downtown Chicago serves.
No.
And you got no way of knowing that.
Not unless they happen to have their information available somewhere, or I call them, hey, what's on tap,
Right.
Which would be very difficult because there's probably thousands and thousands, thousands of pubs throughout the country and the world, for that matter. Probably millions of pubs throughout the world.
But what I'm saying is you could actually go down to our local tavern or tap house. You should probably take me. And you should probably pay. And we could go down there and we could drink beer and you could talk with the owner or whatever, or the manager, and say, yeah, give me your menu because I want to put it into my app. I want to do this thing, yada, yada, yada. And so at first your app would only be good for the local area. But you wouldn't advertise. And if some knucklehead comes on and he complains about, hey, your app doesn't talk about Wisconsin. Yes, that was the most horrible made-up town name I've ever... Let's try that again.
Rewind.
Your town doesn't talk about
wherever.
I got nothing.
Fine. I get
Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie. Thank you. Thank you, Poughkeepsie, New York, for being a place that sounds weird. No offense. But your app doesn't talk about Poughkeepsie. Then you're like, well, yeah, because I'm not in Poughkeepsie. I'm here. This is a local app, and this gets back to the whole thing about how the internet has become like, it's almost like an overlay on the world. So websites relate to geographical locations now.
Sure.
Whereas in the past it was well, you don't think that's cool?
Well, no, I do. It's not as local as I think you're making it sound, though. I mean,
no, it is.
You know what I mean? So,
well, it's accessible. It's accessible to the entire world, but it's accessible to the entire world the same way that a map of Seattle has always been accessible to the entire world. Where are we at? 150? A Russian...
152.
A Russian living in Russia.
Right, I can see a map.
Could get a map, right?
I think we should fire up again.
Okay.
So we're getting on the low end. All right, go for it. We got Silver said something too.
It was LOL.
Oh, no, before that.
Oh, he said
to learn.
He wants to learn, so just watch how to do it. All right. Well, that's awesome because Steve loves to teach.
He's trying to trigger me. No, putting it in that context, where like, yes, a map of Seattle is available to anybody in the world, even though they're not in Seattle. They can still see the map. So yeah, put in that context, I can understand.
And that's the context I'm saying, is that how the internet relates. And it really was. It was like, if you, well, like look at me, for a musician. I'm a musician, right? So I write music professionally, and on the one hand, it's great that I can sell, and I've sold things to guys in Kazakhstan.
Right.
I had to learn to sing Russian. That guy was incredibly patient. That took a long time, and I'm still pretty sure my accent was horrible, like horrible, but he liked it. I mean, he worked through. He's like, it was actually kind of fun. He sent me little recordings of his voice. It's just like, I'm not even going to try. Russian is a hard accent. I mean, it is. I mean, the way they form the things in the back. Hey, so tell, we're just going to call you Silver. No offense. Tell Silver what we're doing.
Okay, so
because they actually said, I want to learn, so I just watch how to do it.
Okay, so right now we're kind of in the early stages of the process. We're steeping our grains, and the reason I had to relight the fire was I turned it off on purpose. Let's move this paper bag. I turned it off on purpose because our water temperature got a little bit too high, and so I didn't
keep talking.
Get
some refills.
Yeah, please do. Yep. And I'll let him go. And I didn't want to steep too hot because I don't know exactly what it would do, how much it's going to change the flavor, but it might. So I wanted the temperature to kind of regulate down to between 150 and 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And when I did my last check, it was getting low. It was down to about 152, but I had no flame on. So that's why I went ahead and returned the fire so we can maintain our temperature, because we're steeping for 30 minutes. And right now I have 12 minutes remaining. So I was concerned the temperature might get too low and we'd have to play this up and down game. So ideally we can just maintain the temperature, steady the whole time, but it doesn't always work. Jamie and I have a tendency to get talking and we kind of forget what we're paying attention to, and then we have to do this game. So that's why we were doing that. And since you checked in kind of late, this is what the grain bag looks like. It's just all the specialty grains that make up this style of beer, and you steep it in water just like you would do a tea bag. If you follow recipes from your local brew supply or the internet or wherever you might get them from, they'll have those kind of instructions on there. They'll tell you exactly how long, what temperature to maintain, that kind of stuff. So as long as you read your recipe and follow it, you kind of can't go wrong, unless you get like me and him and yak too much and then forget what we're doing. Yeah, we're need to go down a little bit more. Almost rising too fast again. Like I can't find that steady point. Thank you.
Oh, here. Actually,
yeah, right now.
Well,
yeah, I can't stabilize it. It's either going too fast or too.
I'm not gonna lie. Your burner is better than mine.
Okay,
which is amusing because
we're good now.
They're actually both your burners.
Well, this is an older one, and this thing's, I don't know how old this thing is. It's old. It was originally a turkey fryer kind of burner. I bought a new one not too long ago, which is the same idea. It just hooks with the propane, and you can use it for whatever, turkey frying, brewing beer. But for some reason on the new one, the heat just is distributed a little more evenly, so it's easier to kind of maintain your temperature on it.
Well, and your controller's better.
Oh, well.
That regulator there it's
right.
Touchy and.
Yeah, it's hard to get the right sweet spot.
Maybe I'll convince my mother to buy me a new burner.
What that one cost? What, $80? I want to say.
It wasn't expensive, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. I suppose if you're a college student that's still eating ramen noodles, $80
right.
is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously $80 is relative to the person, if that's expensive or not.
But still, no, it wasn't. It wasn't like, wow, this is a crazy investment type deal. It was just like, I mean, shoot, I put more than that in my Suburban.
Yeah, right. So Silver, what part of the world are you joining us from? We're always curious to know where people are tuning in. We're in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. We're just curious where you're viewing from. So what was the last thing we were talking about? Again, lost my train of thought because I got distracted by the water. It's like, oh, we're too hot, we're too cold.
I think we're still talking about the concept of this local.
Oh, locality. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
By changing the context to, your example with the map of Seattle. Yeah, someone in Russia can see that map no matter where they're in the world. Doesn't mean they're in Seattle, obviously. Just like the website's globally accessible, but it may not doing good for someone in a different country, or in our case, a different city or different different state. So
right. And it's just certain things they come out the gate swinging. I think I was talking about the whole music thing and how,
Oh, that's right, because you wrote some music for a guy in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, and we're talking about how hard it is to speak Russian.
How to get the accent, especially to a non-native speaker. You know what I mean?
It's really weird. The Hollywood Russian and real Russian,
not really the same thing, or very.
They're distant cousins at best.
Okay.
I mean, because I have Russian friends now. Actually, he's in Russia. Maybe he'll come back.
Maybe.
No, wait, he's in New York. He came back.
Oh, okay.
But
is that the guy that left the thing here?
Yes,
okay.
That guy.
Okay, that guy. Yeah.
But no, it's just so like if you listen to the anyways, because of this Kazakhstan thing, and because I have a friend in Russia now, or a Russian friend, a truly Russian friend.
Right.
Getting old. Let me sit down. What was I saying?
Your friend in Russia.
Right. So a friend in Russia.
Good aroma, by the way. The initial steeping aroma. Yeah,
that's my favorite part.
Good.
I'm just gonna stick my head.
Smells like hot grape nuts.
When you say it that way, it's not nearly.
It's not meant to. It's not meant to make it sound bad. It's just it smells like the cereal grape nuts. You remember that cereal grape nuts? Real crunchy.
Oh, Canada.
Canada, sweet. Our northern friends.
Yeah, we like Canadians.
We're actually really close to you.
Yeah.
Well, depending which side of Canada you're on, or in the middle, we're actually rather. We could be close to you.
Yes, we could be an hour and a half away if you live right at the border. Like,
let me give you an idea. I've been to Blaine a few
check.
times, so if you're anywhere near Blaine, then we're relatively close to you.
In any case, Russian. I'm working hard to dredge this one up. Doesn't matter. The point is listening to Peter and then listening to a lot of the Russian folk music and stuff. It's amazing how much, because there's a lot of oi sounds, and of course there's lots of skis, right? Because that's a last Russian name, Polski, Dostoevsky, but Tolstoy.
Yeah.
It's amazing how Asian the language sounded to me. At least the Kazakh, when I was working for that guy out of Kazakhstan and stuff. But really what we're talking about is the fact that I've had international clients. I've sold stuff in Japan, and I've sold stuff in England. And
I have too, actually. I built a bot for a gentleman out of England for the Telegram platform.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just a basic chat bot for him he needed for his channel. So anyway,
sweet.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's really cool. And all of that in the context of, so even though I do a lot of music globally, it really makes no sense to compete. I mean, think about it. How many millions of composers are out there?
Probably a lot, yeah.
Right? I mean, and then you add folks.
I'm just going to keep checking time. So
yeah. Well, you add folks that aren't serious composers. Next to Washington.
Oh, sweet.
You keep logging in. Eventually, we'll get to know you, and someday we'll come see you and drink a beer with you.
I know, right?
Anyhow, yeah. So where do I go with this? Composers. Then you add in singer-songwriters who aren't classically trained composers, but they're still writing music, and that is really the definition of composing, right? So that's a huge competition pool. It's much easier to stay here. It's like drop down, into Seattle and network, which is something I really need to do. Of course, I need time to do that.
I'm very good at that as well. I'm terrible at it.
Well, it's because we both have day jobs and we both have kids and we both have lives and we have to brew beer.
Not the brewing, but the life thing kind of gets in the way.
Right. We could talk about selling our children again, although eventually we'll get arrested if we keep doing that.
I think that gives the wrong message.
Yeah.
It's just like, it was a joke. It was never meant to be.
We're not really into selling children. Much. Hey, if the profits, my morals have slid as I've gotten older.
You got to be careful. The world is very sensitive these days.
That's true. But you know what? My answer to that, relax. Have a home brew.
Seriously. Have a home brew.
So, Anyhow, I just think and I think in the context of your app, is like I don't think you can compete on the global stage because you don't have a big enough team.
No, I'm a one-person show.
You have you, and then you have me.
Yeah.
And about the only thing I can do is break your app. I can really break it. You let me type on that computer, I will break that thing so good you will never fix it. But
3 minutes.
Seriously, you can go to local tap houses and stuff.
Right.
And really good. We could have whatever their snacks are and drink a beer and talk and look at their menu and put this information in the app and then just push the app as a local thing, you know?
Right.
You know that's how Facebook started. Think about
I guess. I don't know. I don't really know the history of Facebook.
It really is. I mean, Zuckerberg designed that app for his college.
I was supposed to say it was college, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just.
Actually, I think I knew that part.
It was probably one of those hot or not sites, to be honest.
That's how Yahoo started. It was a college project for aggregating stuff for the dorm. You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Right, and so
old
the point
websites
is,
from the mid early 90s. You know?
If you look at some of this stuff, it all started geographically local. It wasn't
right.
It wasn't this let's take over the world thing, and I think that's a mistake a lot of people make these days.
You got to think though too. The world has shrunk in a sense because of things like the internet. You know, so you can become global just like that. Depending on your product, you know.
Right, but if you aim for it, you're going to be disappointed a lot.
Right, that makes sense.
You know, think of all the big ones. How did Amazon start?
He was kind of local. Yeah, he was books only, I believe.
It was books only. The point is not so much like it was local, because I think Amazon was.
Well, maybe not local in that sense, but it definitely wasn't global till later.
They were definitely America.
Yeah.
And it was Sears Roebuck style, only for books and only on the internet, right? So there was that, right? Google didn't start that big. You just said Yahoo was a college project.
Yeah,
Facebook was a college project.
Napster, I believe, was a college, even though Napster evolved over the years since it was a thing in the early 2000s.
Thank goodness. Although we could talk about piracy next.
But that wasn't my point. The point was it was a local project.
Right, but my point is you're right.
Because we're down to like a minute.
Okay. I don't
have my knife on me.
I don't have my sharp knife, but I got some scissors. Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right, everybody hold that thought on our little philosophical discussion of technology and stuff here. We're actually getting ready to move into the next step where we're going to take our steeping grains out. Now we have what's called wort, or it's close to wort. I'm not sure what the distinction is or where you want to place it. But we are going to pull the grains, let them gravity drain for a few moments. I need to set this thing so it doesn't turn off so soon. It's annoying, man. My old phone, if you had something running like this, it would not go to the screen, the logout screen or whatever.
We got to fix this.
All right, we have 30 seconds.
People are like cupcakes. They're soft.
Seriously,
you, sir,
we like your philosophy.
Are absolutely right.
So we have 20 seconds.
All right. Did you kill the flame?
No, I didn't kill the flame.
All right.
I can. Killed it. All right. So, Silver, what we're getting ready to do now is put in our sugars, essentially.
Don't get too excited. We still got to drain this.
Yeah, I know. We still got a few months. I'm just kind of prepping. Oh, there we go. There's our timer.
Okay. So we're not going to rinse. Our recipe says to steep this at 150 degrees, between 150 and 160. It doesn't have to be laser sharp 150. 150 degrees for about half an hour. Well, for exactly half. I got it.
Okay.
For half an hour. And then after that, it says to rinse the grains with 170 degree water. And there's some discussion on rinsing or not rinsing. It's not really a settled thing. But within this grain sack, I think you can see it, yep. Within this grain sack, of course, are all the specialty grains. And with any grains or plant product, actually, oak trees are really bad. That's one of the reasons why water here is so hard.
Okay,
is because of all the trees up behind us on the hill, all the deciduous trees. The water filters down through them and it sucks all the tannins out of them, goes down into the aquifer, and then it goes into my well, and then it goes into my house, and it has a definite flavor.
Gotcha.
So anyways, the tannins are not necessarily desirable. And if you were to squeeze this sack really bad and stuff, those tannins would come out and go into our wort. And they're not necessarily a delicious flavor. Now, the nice thing about not being in your garage is we can do this.
Bye.
Definitely need to pick
Usually
that up
it just
later.
goes into a metal bowl and then he feeds it to his chickens later.
But now it just goes on the grass over there, and we'll feed it to my chickens later. All right. So now we're adding the sugars.
This is dry malt extract. It's just essentially powdered sugar, but it's not like confectionery sugar that you would get at a grocery store. It's I forget if it's corn sugar or not, or what it's made for. It's definitely made for brewing.
No, I think that's some grains and stuff.
Oh, okay. It's malted barley, which means the sugars have been drawn from it, and then it's all evaporated and becomes powder.
What's interesting is it's similar to what we made here. Because
Right.
think about it. Think about it.
Yeah, the process is very good. If we did all grain brewing, the process would be very similar.
Right.
Except we would have to do what's called the sparging.
Right. So we wouldn't add this if we were doing all grain brewing.
because we make our own.
Because we'd make our own. Now, next week, we're going to be doing a Cascade Pale Ale. Not next week, in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a... Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to turn the flame off, because I can see we could get some scorching if we didn't. So we're doing a Cascade Pale Ale, and that uses liquid malt extracts.
Which is usually what we use. So
if you go on any of our socials, YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, and look at some of the past episodes, you'll see where we pour in the liquid malt extract.
looks like molasses kind of.
And I kind of like this recipe because guess what?
We don't do any shakies or get burnt hands or anything.
More importantly, I'm not getting sticky.
Yeah.
I hate
it's bad.
Hate getting sticky, and you can't avoid it. It doesn't matter how careful you are.
Some of our beers have both dry malt and the sticky, syrupy, malt extract.
Wow, there's a lot of sugar going into this beer.
Yeah.
This is a lot of sugar.
Right.
So yeah, if we were doing all grain, we would extract the sugars. We would start with our various grains, our barleys, and we would extract the sugars from there. And you wouldn't have this powder you're dumping it over the side.
Oops.
You would just have...
Can't be perfect all the time, I guess.
Regular Mary Poppins, this one. Practically perfect in every way. By the way, I was listening to The Score, one of my favorite radio programs with Edmund Stone. It's usually on public radio or your local classic radio station. I don't know, different places. Anyways, I was listening to it, and I didn't watch the reboot, or actually, I didn't watch Mary Poppins Returns. It's not a reboot, it's actually a sequel.
It's supposed to be a sequel. I didn't even know it existed.
But I listened to some of the music, and of course, I have kind of a dim view of Disney. And not just because of the way they destroyed Star Wars, but just because some of their latest songs, they used to have such great music, man. And now their music is just like Madonna pop rock. It's just like, not impressed. Not yet. We're working on Twitch. Okay. Oh, bye. Have a good time. See you later. Thanks for stepping in. We don't have Twitch yet, and that's just because we're lazy. Because it's not that hard to get a Twitch account.
I have a Twitch account, but it's not.
Well, we should make a Northwest Blue.
Yeah, we should make one specific to the brewing. So.
I also have a Twitch account that I hardly ever use.
I know one person who broadcasts their games on it. I know him in real life, Otherwise, there's really nothing to watch.
All right. So thank you very much, Silver. You said bye. Have a good time. So you must be taking off. Take care of yourself up there in Canada, and we'll be here for a little while in case you come back.
Yeah.
And if you don't, we'll be back in 2 weeks doing this again, making a different beer with the liquid malts.
So back to what you were saying.
What was I saying?
We were still. I can't.
I was talking about Mary
We're
Poppins.
all over the damn place. I always forget what we're talking about.
Of course, that's the way it goes. That's fine. I was talking about Mary Poppins and The Score and stuff. Wow, that's a lot of sugar.
I can't remember what the context was, man.
You should maybe just go ahead and turn the flame back on.
Yeah.
Get this warm. Keep it low, but...
Right. You're getting tired of stirring. I'll take over.
Oh, I'm doing okay.
I'll get the.
So, anyways, I listened to one of the songs from it, and I really liked it. It was like a classic musical song, kind of like La La Land. Did you see La La Land?
No. Did not see it. Timer set.
There you go. So I saw La La Land, and
Hour and 30 minutes.
again, I didn't think it was. Go ahead. I didn't think La La Land was amazing, to be honest, but it was enjoyable, and it was really fun seeing the opening sequence. So the opening sequence is on a freeway, and they have the big, they have the big musical number where everybody's singing and everybody's dancing, and they're jumping on car hoods and twirling around and doing all this fun stuff. You taking off, Jaime?
Yeah.
Okay. Love you guys.
We'll be back.
Oh,
Gotta go
bummer.
home again.
All right. Love you, baby.
Love you. See you later.
See you,
Okay.
Wendy.
See you, Steve.
So, anyways, I think I'm going to watch Mary Poppins Returns.
Okay.
I heard it wasn't bad.
Wasn't terrible. All right, I think
Well,
we're dissolved.
I'm just, my thing is, I'm not a big fan of reboots. Think up something new.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting tired of the reboot thing as well. It's like, come on. I get it, technology's changed, especially when they remake movies from the 70s and 80s that were good then, but obviously with the new technology, they could potentially be better. But they always seem to be lacking something, in my opinion, in my experiences with those reboots. I haven't really seen an awesome reboot yet that I think is really awesome. Either they change some element of the story that just kind of ruins the original story. Like one thing, Total Recall. Original 1990s Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger, kick-ass movie. They redid it a few years ago with, I think it was Colin Farrell. But they totally changed the premise of the story, though. And it just, I don't know, it didn't really fit with me. Maybe I'm being biased because I like the original better. But it's just one example of a reboot I didn't care for. Actually, not irony, but coincidentally, another Colin Farrell reboot, which I thought was less than what it should be, was Fright Night. They remade the movie Fright Night. That was a classic 80s horror vampire movie. Cheeseball all the way, but it was wonderfully done. They remade it in like 2015 with Colin Farrell again. It's coincidental that he happens to be the same actor. It just didn't have the same vibe. It just didn't feel the same. Again, I'm probably being biased, but it's just another example of a reboot that I didn't care for, How about you? Do you have any that really just, that you just were just very disappointed in? I mean, just out of curiosity.
I'm trying to think of how many reboots I've really watched.
What's funny is some of these reboots have been like reboots of reboots even,
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man. How many times are we going to do Spider-Man?
Well,
They keep changing the actor, who plays Spider-Man.
yeah, so the Spider-Man one was...
Like,
I
I
don't
like the
know.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I thought they
Tobey
were pretty
Maguire.
good.
Well, I think, who's the next guy? Tom Harding?
No. Tom Hardy played Bane and Batman.
Yeah, no. But this guy's Tom Hiddlesworth?
Oh, yeah, the new actor.
His name is Tom.
I mean, he didn't
His first name is Tom.
do a terrible job.
No,
I
he
just-
didn't. He didn't as an actor.
Right,
he did
right.
fine. The problem I have with the new Spider-Man is the directors seem to have cast him as this like prepubescent wuss.
Right.
Like seriously, I read Spider-Man, and no, Spider-Man wasn't like Superman or Clark Kent or any of these others. I mean, he was not bulletproof for one thing,
Right.
and he wasn't 100% sure of himself, but he was cocky and arrogant, and he had a quick mouth on him. If you read the fight scenes, he always had these barbs that he was throwing at the bad guys as he was fighting.
Oh,
them,
yeah,
right?
yeah. The old comics. Yeah. He was always talking smack,
He was. He's
Yeah.
the original smack talker of the comic books. And the latest is, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
Daddy Iron Man, what can I do? It's like, oh, geez, somebody shoot the director. You don't have to kill him. Shoot him in the leg. That's okay. But, geez, punish him. It was horrible. horrible. I mean, because he's not, and it's like I said, it's not the actor because he's acting under direction.
He's just doing his job.
It's like, this is what we want Spider-Man to be. It's like, no, he's a wuss.
And I had the same thing when I saw those reboots. I kind of complained about. It wasn't Colin Farrell's job that I was disappointed. It was just the movie just didn't grip me the same way those original versions did.
Well, something else that's interesting is that, I don't know, maybe it's magic. Who knows? But through recorded media, you can still hear, feel, see, like, passion and interest and energy in something. Like, this is true. Like, a contractually obligated album from any of your big bands, right? Name your big bands.
Oh yeah, it's gonna sound.
You can actually hear the difference between.
It's gonna sound robotic.
It's like here they did this. It's like Aerosmith's first album. It's like, wow, it's awesome. And then their last album, which they have to do because they're under a 900-year contract. And it's just kind of like, this is meh.
And we're not targeting Aerosmith. This is just an example. I have no idea what their last album is, honestly.
Yeah, but I happen to know that Aerosmith has done some albums because of contract.
Right.
They really have.
So they're probably just meeting the minimums. Like, well, okay, we'll write some music then just to shut these contractors up so they don't go to court, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the music is mediocre. It doesn't have the same feeling.
Right, and you got to think, all those guys are talented. I mean, when you do music full time,
you're
talented,
talented.
And they were great, obviously, because when they came out, people loved them.
I've seen, since we're actually using Aerosmith as the example, I've actually seen them in concert twice in the 90s. I saw them in 1990 and again in 1990. Was it 1 or 2 I saw them,
Right, and so the point is they're a good band, right? I like their music. Living in the Fridge, it's good. Oh, wait, that's Weird Al. Sorry. Did I mention we'll be here all week?
We got a comedian.
But the point is that
that is.
It is. Is it boiling yet? Not yet.
No, I can't tell.
Just let it go. You got it turned up enough?
I think so. That's pretty high right there.
Yeah, you might want to keep stirring it if we go that high.
Right.
The point is that you can hear it, and so with these reboots, is one person is like, this is really cool, and the other people are like, well, yeah, it's like espresso.
Right? I didn't know we were making espressos today.
Apparently we are.
Newcastle flavored espressos?
Not gonna lie, I'm half tempted to taste it. But not really. So where was I going? So anyways, you were talking about these reboots that are just kind of like meh.
Yeah, it seems to be lacking something, in my opinion.
They do, and I think that, so I don't mind movies that have a message. Like, I don't. But you have to be very good at it. Just like I don't mind songs that have a message. But when you put a message into your art, you have to be subtle. Because if you get preachy, at least for me, you're going to lose me.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, same here. I don't like it,
and whether I'm for your message or not, by the way, right? So I'll give you an example of things that I feel were just the message or whatever took precedence over telling a good story. For example, the all-female Ghostbusters, right? I mean, who's I don't know any of them. Jenny McCarthy?
I think Jenny was one of them.
Or Melissa McCarthy, or it's not Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy was she was something else.
Yeah,
she was like a blonde model type. I think it was Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah. The point is that I am sure that none of those actresses or female actors, depending on how you want to say it, I'm sure that none of them are bad. In fact, there's one, Thunder something. It looks kind of fun. I know I really enjoyed it. It's Melissa McCarthy. I really enjoyed her commercial, the one where she was saving wolves and whales and trees and stuff, and everything ended up as a disaster. It was a great commercial. And if you really want to laugh, you need to go watch her Jimmy Fallon one.
Yeah. Where
they do the lip sync thing, because he does a karaoke thing sometimes, and she does the Colors of the Wind, and it's just, oh my goodness, it's freaking hilarious. Point being, though, is that the female Ghostbusters movie was a flop. And I think part of the reason it was a flop, because instead of making their own story. They just rebooted it and they did it all with women, and it was unavoidable. You could tell what they were saying.
Right.
You know, whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter.
Leaning on, intentionally feminist.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna get rid of all the male characters, and then they even turned Janine into a male character. I didn't see it, but I'm pretty sure they turned. So Janine, from the original one, right, was a female.
Oh, that's right, because Chris Helmsworth was the actor.
That's right.
They made him like
So
really
strange.
dumb. They made his character like just really dumb.
It's like, how can you watch Thor being like that?
I know, right?
Which is really bad, because so if they made his character dumb, because Janine was not
She
dumb.
wasn't dumb. It was Annie Potts was the original Janine.
Right, and she was
like that
sharp and
She was
cutting.
like that quintessential New Yorker. Hey,
Yeah, she was like, I quit better jobs than this. It's just like, she was.
Yeah, exactly.
So make your own movie. That's what I'm saying. But let's go on something different. A movie that I think had a very distinct message, but I think was just amazingly well done. You ever see Crash?
Crash. No. Who's
Crash?
I might have seen it, but I don't remember.
Oh, jeez. Encino Man, Brendan
Fraser?
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, yeah.
God,
I used to have such a crush on her when I was in high school.
Oh, is it Eva Mendes? Hispanic girl.
I think I know who you're talking about. Excuse me, but I can't quite picture her face.
Is it Don Cheadle? I think
Might
it's
have been.
Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle's an amazing.
Don Cheadle's a great actor.
I mean, he is an amazing actor.
Last thing I saw him in was right. I lost the thought now. He was I think it was called Terrorist or something like that.
Terrorist?
Yeah. His character was Muslim, and he essentially infiltrated a terrorist organization. Oh, Jeff. Really? It's Sunday. Why are you flying today? Must be your Sunday weekend. I know, right? The camera's bigger than all up, dude.
Yeah, and the problem is the way these microphones work, that is going to drown you.
Yeah.
So anyways, I think you can go Don Cheadle.
So basically, he infiltrates a terrorist organization to get on their side, and throughout the movie, I initially couldn't tell, is he actually one of the bad guys or is he a good guy? I'm not going to reveal the rest, but it was a great movie. I think it's called Terrorist. That's the last movie I saw him in. I'm sure he's made stuff since then, because that was a few years ago, but
So in any case, let's get back to Crash, because Crash definitely had a message. It was an anti-racism, and it was talking about how everybody's racist. And I think some of the cool things about it was that not only were the white people racist in this movie, but like all the minorities. There were only two minority groups portrayed. They're Hispanics and black people, right? Right. But even then, it talked about the racist tendencies within those groups.
Oh, okay.
So, but the point being is that it definitely had a message, right? The movie had a point, right? It was not just like, this is just a high action. It was not a Michael Bay, right? Which, by the way, Michael Bay movies are great. Lots of explosions, guns. I call them high action, low plots.
Right.
You just blow stuff up. Do we develop any characters? No, they don't live long enough to develop. In any case, but my point is, Crash was a great movie. Seriously, great movie. It's a little bit older. Crash. That's all it is. It's just called Crash. I recommend I totally recommend that you watch it. Definite message, right? But still a great message, because the way they wove it in there, right? Like at one point, so it's got to be Don Cheadle's character. It's got to be Don Cheadle.
You have the internet at your hands right there.
Right, I do. I'm looking this up.
We're so bad about that. We'll sit there and go, who was that? But then not look it up.
Where are my glasses? Did I bring them out here?
You want me to do it?
No, we're good. I got it.
These are prescriptions. So.
Okay. Well, I might have you do it. All right. We're just gonna go Crash. IMDb. Go.
Hey, DB.
IMDb. 2004.
Actually, you could probably clarify that name of that movie that he was in. I was talking about. I think it's called Terrorist, but I can't quite remember.
Oh,
If you
yeah,
look
we
up
can.
John
Well, we
Cheadle's
can look
character.
up Don Cheadle real quick. Okay, cast. Come on. Where's the cast? All right, cast and crew. There we go. Cast 54. Wow. Karina Oroyave.
I'm not familiar with that name.
Yep, me neither. Sandra Bullock. Yes. Don Cheadle. Art Chutabala. Don't know. Sean Corey. Don't know. Tony Danza.
Wow.
Keith David. Loretta Devine. Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon did a great job. Jennifer Esposito. Ime Etuk. Eddie Fernandez. William Fichtner. Howard Fong. Brendan Fraser. Billy Gallo. Kangaroo.
Ooh, I think we're close, man.
Oh, it's moving. It's moving. Octavio Gomez Berrios. James Haggis.
Oh,
Terrence
wait,
Howard.
the pops,
Silver
dude.
Hogan. What?
The hops.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're boiling. We're boiling.
Where are the hops?
It doesn't matter. I got to.
Where are the hops?
They're in the fridge, the upstairs fridge in the door. Okay. So, professionalism 101. I actually had to turn it off, man. It's trying to boil over. Get so busy with movies, we forget we're actually brewing beer.
All right, so do they go in at the 60 or what? You didn't kill the fire, did you?
I did kill the fire because it was boiling over. It wasn't just boiling, it was boiling over. Let's go ahead and, in a controlled manner, turn the fire back on.
All right, there we go.
Let me get this controlled. Oh, that's not too bad. I just need to move it over just a little bit so I can actually see the flame. Right there for now. I think that'll be okay. Let's get the boil under control before we add those. So I have a feeling this has the potential to be explosive.
I know, right?
And let me double check. Let's see here. Okay. Remove kettle from heat. Add extract. Dissolve completely. Commence boil. Add hops as detailed above. Minute 90 and minute 30. Okay. All right. So you want me to set my timer?
I already got it set.
For 90 minutes?
Yep.
All right. Did you hit go yet?
Nope. Until we get the.
Yeah. Because, yeah, that was just a little too exciting. If
Yeah,
you'd
that
have thrown the hops in there, it would have been, like, probably an explosion.
All right. You want to stir it while I.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hopefully
I think we're good. Yeah, I think you can go for it. Just go for it.
All right.
All right. So basically, it's gonna boil. It's gonna boil for an hour like this.
I know. It's interesting.
Now, these hops, I mean,
And just like that, the foam was gone.
that's nice. Turn the heat up a little bit. I think we need a little more. Still got flame?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got motion. Yeah, motion.
There it goes. That's good. I won't turn it up too much because it's going to be like, ah!
Yeah, then it gets all exciting again. Let's go back to halves, just in case somebody actually did make a comment. Oh. I think
Now it's getting back to its boil.
I think that's under control. All right. So, and now it's cold.
I know. Freeze kicked up.
An hour ago, I'm
Overcast,
sweating, and now I'm cold. So, in any case, Crash. So, Don Cheadle. Well, I was talking about how it reviewed, it talked about these racial biases and the way that, you know, I guess I think I liked it for one thing because it seemed fair and balanced. So Don Cheadle he's in a romantic relationship with the Hispanic actress who I have to find her. Who is it? Oh, Ludacris was in it. Interesting.
Starting to get annoyed by the breeze. What if the breeze is affecting our flame? And it's got
Probably is.
It's got a little shield on it, but still.
Yeah, a little shield, but. Huh. And maybe it is Karina Arroyo. It's not Sandra Bullock. So, anyways, they're in bed together. Which
I'm pausing the timer until this starts boiling again, dude.
Okay, that's fine. That's not quite a rolling boil. You're right.
So we were there. What happened? You know?
No, we're at a roiling boil. There we go. I would say we're pretty much.
Hops kind of smell different than I'm used to, you know?
Well, they're Kent Golding's hops. I just haven't used a lot of those. They're British.
Yeah? Hence the name Kent.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times the name of hops, at least traditionally, would tell you where it's from. Kent Golding.
Mm-hmm. So how about Fuggles?
That is a British hop, but I don't know if Fuggles is a region or not.
Maybe it's a Harry Potter hop.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back, Silver. So, we were talking about Crash and racism and messages in movies and things like that.
Let's pause that. Since he's here to learn, let's tell him a little bit what we just did.
Go ahead, man.
So,
in fact, I need to use the restroom. So, hi, Silver. I gotta step out.
So, I think before you left, you saw us put in the dry malt extract and get it all mixed in, and we cranked up the heat again until the wort was having a kind of a smooth rolling boil. You don't want a real, agitated, raging boil, but a nice rolling smooth boil. And then at that point, which we call the, in this case it's 90 minutes. We're doing this for 90 minutes. We put our first hot packet in, which is this here. This was trying to let you know how much. This was 1 ounce of these East Kent Golding hops. I don't know if you can see that or not because my monitor's not working anymore. But these just came with the kit. Nothing crazy about them. They're standard. And now that we have a nice kind of fluid, rolling boil, we're gonna let that go for a total of 90 minutes. But at the 30-minute remaining mark, we're gonna put the second hot packet in, and then just let it finish its job. And then once that's done, we'll pull the wort off the flame, and we'll start rapidly chilling it down to, looks like it wants us to take it down to about 64 degrees. And with that, we have what's called a wort chiller. Not everybody uses wort chillers. We like them because it does it so fast. But basically, a wort chiller is just copper tubing and a coil, and you run water through one end, and you have some kind of exhaust so the water can shoot out the other end, and then that cold water, let me back up a little, we'll actually submerge it into the wort. That cold water will run through that tubing, and it'll transfer that heat out nice and quick. So anyway, quick catch up for you since you had to go away for a little while. But now we're just gonna hang out and watch the timer and watch our boil and talk about. In this case, we're talking about the movie Crash. What got that going was we're talking about reboots, and somehow it evolved into that. I don't know.
Well, more broadly, we're talking about messages in art.
That's right, the message in the movies and stuff. And sometimes you can have a good movie with a bad message, or a message that's strong, but the movie sucks. We're just talking about stuff. And
it could even be a good message, but I think my point was whether your message is good or bad.
Right.
if you put the message in front of the storytelling and in front of the craft, it almost always ruins the movie, right?
Right.
Whereas
the story was important. Yeah.
If you carefully weave the message into the storytelling and into the acting, then it can make a great movie and make a good statement, i.e., and that's why we're talking about Crash.
Right.
Because the point I was getting up to is Don Cheadle is in bed with apparently this
Whatever that actress
Royale
was,
woman, and his mother calls, which is not a big deal, right? So they're not doing anything. They're lovers, and so they sleep in the same house and they're in the same bed, right? And his mom calls, and for whatever reason, he says, and this is where I'm getting to the whole, they really portrayed how all groups have these prejudices against people that are not like them.
Right.
He says to his mother, "Mom, I'm making love to a Mexican."
Okay. The mom didn't like that, huh?
No, the mom, you never hear anything about the mom. No, this Karina Arroyo, whatever her, Elizabeth. The character's name is Elizabeth.
Right.
So that girl, she was horribly offended. She's like, "I'm not Mexican. I'm from Ecuador."
Mm.
And it's just, anyways, I thought it was really great. It was a great movie. The message was strong in it, but it wasn't in your face preachy. It was like woven in. It was really well done.
Oh, okay, I got you. So yeah, Silver, just to give you some background on us, a lot of times why we're doing this, because it's a sit and wait in many cases, we talk about anything and everything while we're doing this. So feel free to chime in, give us your opinions on stuff, guide the conversation if you want. It'll be random stuff. One day it might be music, it might be software engineering, it might be, what we did in the past. Who knows, man? It could be anything. We just talk about stuff to fill the time. Sometimes we actually research a topic that's related to home brewing, and we'll talk about it for a while. We'll look it up on the pad and just kind of read some of the stuff we find, just for general information for anybody. So sure. Anyway,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I have a problem. I have an empty beer.
I'll be right back. Be right back.
Where's your beer, by the way? I think he left it inside on accident. Oh, this has a nice aroma. I can smell the hops. It smells good. So hopefully this beer comes out good in the end. Oh no, we're almost out of that first growler, but we have another one.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. So yeah, this is a growler of the Irish Red that we made. I'm just gonna say 2 months ago because I can't remember when we made it. But if you didn't see us talking about this or hear us talking about this earlier, so anyway, this is how we share our beer. We fill growlers, but since we keg, we don't actually bottle. We have never bottled our beers yet. It's always been kegged up. So
we're thinking about it, but
where's your beer, man? I'll top you off.
It's right next to you.
Oh, it was out here the whole time.
Yeah, I've been talking a lot, obviously.
It's all right. It's what this broadcast is about, man. Talking.
There we go. Now we got a good boil.
Teaching people, hopefully teaching some people some things.
You need a beer when you make one. That's the biggest rule.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Although, let us impart
tell them the story.
Let us impart some wisdom about drinking beer while you're brewing beer. Once, long ago, when Steve and I were younger, I'd like to say much younger, but not really. Just a few years younger. So really not a lot of wisdom between now and then. But this one we learned, you don't want to drink too much beer before you start brewing. So we made a beer. To this day, we don't know what it was supposed to be. But it was a kit, and we were making beer. We were having a good time, and we were actually in the house at that point. And we're brewing beer.
It was on my stovetop, wasn't it?
No, it was on my stovetop. We were in my house.
Oh, I thought it was mine. But...
Nope. Anyways.
Doesn't matter.
We got so schnockered that we had to have Steve's wife read the recipe to us. I mean, we couldn't see what we were doing. Yeah, we finally handed it to her. She knows nothing about brewing beer, and she was a good sport, but to be honest, wasn't
very thrilled.
Yeah, she is like, I did not come over here to brew beer with you yahoos. And we ended up pouring that one out because it was a disaster.
It was terrible.
I mean, you could smell that we had done something wrong.
So we made a rule that from now on, whenever we would brew after that, we would drink beer, of course, because you've got to drink and have a brew, or brew and have a drink, whatever.
Yeah, you gotta drink beer while you're brewing.
But the important things we would wait before we knocked any hard ones back until after the important things were done. So
yeah, like for example, we didn't start drinking until we hit live.
Yeah.
Right. So we weren't. Now we're at roiling.
That's perfect.
Is that perfect?
I call that perfect.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna go with you.
I'm gonna go hair down. It is a little bit higher than we need, but
all right.
It's not like aggressive and stuff. So.
Did you talk about rolling versus roiling?
I gave them the quick version of catch up.
Yeah.
You know? So hopefully it all made sense.
So it gets, we're outside. It gets a little bit trickier. It's a little harder to control things sometimes because the wind comes up and your flame does funky things, and that's all right. It's fun.
Yeah,
we don't have to be quite as controlled with this batch as we did with the batch that you saw us keg yesterday.
Right.
That batch we wanted to be very careful with because we're doing a controlled experiment. We're making one batch of beer and then another batch of beer, and we're changing one thing, and so we want them to come out right.
And we're curious how much it's going to change the beer in the end. Is it how much of the flavor, the color, whatever? There's any number of things that might be changed just by that simple addition of the hops at the end of the boil, like we did. So
right, and there's so many things you could do. Change your specialty grains, change your yeast, change the temperature you brew at.
Oh, and by the way, so if you don't have like a propane kind of setup like this, stovetop works just as fine as well. Like my house, I have an electric stove with a glass top, and we've used that to brew before. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We just like doing it like this with the propane set up outside because it's outside,
It's nice to be outside.
Or in my garage. When it was colder, we'd brew in the garage.
It allows the wife to still have the kitchen.
Exactly. Yeah. Happy wife, happy life.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, and while we're brewing, we actually drink pretty slow. And I also think, like this is a pretty low ABV beer. We actually brew a lot of low ABV beers.
Lately we have, yeah.
We haven't, not a lot of kick you in the head style beers, which is fine by me.
Yeah, I'm happy with that too because I always enjoy the high octanes, but man, I'd get schmammered a lot quicker than I would like usually,
Yeah, it's like, so where are you sleeping tonight? You got a tent?
Can I use your couch again?
Yes, you may.
Well, before we started really getting the brewing, we'd hang out just Saturday nights, whatever. We'd get together every few weeks or so, and oftentimes I'd buy like 8% types.
Oh my goodness.
And they were just good nights.
What
very
we can remember of them. Oh,
very
yes,
philosophical
very
nights.
We were very wise. Very wise. It's a good thing we didn't broadcast those nights.
I know, right?
So glad we grew up when our entire life is not permanent on the internet.
But now we first started brewing together. It was before I went to California. We did a few batches initially, wasn't it?
We actually did quite a few, but we weren't regular about it.
No, it was just kind of sporadic. We were both in the Navy at one time, and I got stationed down in California, and so I went south for a while, for about a little over 6 years, and then Jamie ended up retiring while I was down there, and
from the Navy,
and then I retired from down there and then came back up here. But anyway, we brewed a little. We brewed a little bit before that.
We brewed a little.
Going to puberty again, and then I retired from the Navy, came back up here. Jamie was already retired, and we decided to start brewing again. And
I like broadcasting.
We first brewed for a while, and then we both got our new jobs after retirement.
Oh, that's
and then
right.
The brewing kind of stopped for a while, and then I don't know. After a couple of years of our Saturday night hangouts, one of us was like, "Dude, why are we brewing again?" And then we dusted off the old brewing equipment and picked it up again. And then we started broadcasting about 4 months ago, maybe.
There's a little more than that. We
could look at it. Yeah.
I mean, they're all on YouTube at least.
So Silver, that's our basic history, of our brewing experience, in a nutshell. So
yeah,
we're by no means experts or masters at this. We're
getting better.
We're getting better. We've gotten pretty good at following the recipe, and we understand some of the chemistry now. Like when we first started, we didn't know what was happening. We were just like, okay, it says this, let's do it. Over the years or over the months, whatever, we've done a lot of our own little research. Especially when we used to talk about it on the show, and we learned a lot from that. So we're having fun. That's the main thing, is have fun with it. Doesn't matter if it's all exact and precise. But the one thing I'm going to stress is sanitization. Whenever
he yelled at me.
Whenever you start brewing,
my best friend yelled at me.
I was having a bad day, and unfortunately,
whatever.
I kind of challenged on him.
At me. I've never yelled at you when I had a bad day.
Anyway, sanitizing your equipment is
I deserved it
It's a
because he
big
was
deal.
absolutely right. He's like, you don't take sanitization seriously enough. And he was absolutely right. So today, I broke 7 or 8 different traffic laws getting here and immediately sanitized everything.
You know what I thought about after the fact? I should have took to help you out. I should have took the fermenter home and sanitized it, just brought it back ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Should have, could have, would have, but didn't. Anyway,
it wasn't hard.
When you start brewing, or if you're already brewing, I mean, then good on you, of course. Your sanitization of your equipment is a big deal before you start. What we do is sorry, squirrel moment. I need to go rotate the funnel.
Because we are sanitizing now. You just use a bleach water solution, just sanitize. But it's a big deal because if you don't sanitize, the little bugs you might have, it might cause no problems at all.
Yeah.
You might just get lucky and your yeast takes off and you have a great beer. Or whatever wild yeasts or bacteria that happen to be on the surface of the inside of your carboy or on your funnel that you use or on your yeast package, they could grab a foothold and they could start growing first. And with wort, it's kind of first to the pole.
Right.
Whatever little bug gets going and starts reproducing and starts going first, they're going to win. And they're going to do their thing in there. So the idea, so obviously you're not going to get to like silicon computer chip sterile.
No.
It used to be surgery room sterile, but the truth
is... Bleach your equipment before you use it to, you know, I'm not talking bleach your pot now. They don't need to do that. But like whatever is going to hold stuff to ferment, you want to bleach that. Whatever's going to come in contact with that, bleach it with, you know, just a solution, a little bit of bleach to whatever parts water. Like what we do is we fill a bucket with water, cold water, put our bleach in it, and then the water lock, the funnel, anything that's going to come in contact with the fermenter, we bleach it and we just let it sit until we're about ready to use it. So,
and it is, you do want to rinse thoroughly because you definitely don't want bleach in your beer. So basically, but the big thing is, so what I was saying is like, you're getting rid of most of the bugs. You're never going to get full sterile. But what you are going to do is you're going to let the yeast that you want to take off, you're going to give it a head start. It's the one that's going to be able to start propagating.
Right.
And once it takes off, the others are going to have a hard time keeping up.
And what happens is your beer can become infected. Now, an infected beer won't hurt you. It's not toxic or anything like that, but it'll just taste awful. And you won't know until you do that first taste test. Right. What we like to do is every stage of transferring the beer, we always taste it to make sure it's good. And it, you know, even when, like I think if you watched this yesterday, we took a little taste before we put it in the keg, and it just tasted like flat beer, you know, which wasn't awful. It actually was a little good. Huh?
Wonderful.
It tasted really good.
It's the best.
Just didn't have the bubbles in it, you know. And that was a good sign for us that we knew that we kept the process clean, and we're gonna have a nice clean finished beer when we're done.
Yeah. So, and you know, one of the cool things about brewing beer is like, if you're macro brew, so you're in Canada, so if you like Molson, that's Canadian, right?
Molson, Kokanee.
You know, Kokanee's not bad.
Kokanee's good.
Your
dad's the one that turned me on to Kokanee.
Yeah, Kokanee, but it is kind of like Coors Light.
I don't know if the export versions are the same what you get locally. Like my dad loves Moosehead, which I know is a Canadian lager, and I don't know if the Moosehead you get is different from what we get here. You know, I imagine some of the exports probably are a little different than the locals,
well, it's kind of like Guinness in Ireland versus
Guinness here,
versus Guinness in America. It's different.
I know you probably have a lot of beers that don't even leave Canada, which are probably way better than one that is named. So
just a reason to go to Canada.
I know, right?
That should be our first international beer tasting.
Head to Canada.
Yes, because it's close.
I know, right? It's close enough that we can actually drive.
We're international. You're in Canada.
You drove an hour, man. Well, it's still
a different country. It's different. It's Canada. It's not the United States. They have poutine. We don't have poutine.
Right?
Right. You can't get poutine here. Well,
I've never seen it here.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, it kind of sounds amazing. French fries and brown gravy and
I don't know. Are the borders
cheese.
Open again for
Oh, who knows?
Because I don't know if the vaccines and stuff. I don't know what
The world is stupid.
I don't know what the
world is
laws are right
stupid.
now for travel. You know,
I don't know.
international travel at least.
I know in Mexico, the hard thing is not getting into Mexico. The hard thing is getting back to the United States. Yep. It's like, sorry, dude, you exported yourself. It's like, okay.
I've been to Mexico. It was years ago before I was in the military. I went to Mexico. I've never been to Canada. I was even stationed in Maine at one time, and I never made it to Canada over on the east side.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Never did, man.
Do you know I got lost in the Canadian Rockies once?
No, I didn't know that.
I did. So we were out in eastern Montana. So what's north of, man?
You have the internet.
I do have the internet. It doesn't really matter because
So you're kind of the topic with us because you're from Canada, so we're all thinking about Canada
now we're thinking about Canada. So we had to go west. Because straight up above eastern Montana is, I think it's Saskatchewan and Alberta, but it's all flat country. There ain't no mountains. I mean, that's why the plain states, that's one of the reasons that their weather is so harsh, is because it comes straight off the North Pole and there ain't a tree to stop it.
Oh, no
There's
kidding,
no
huh?
mountain ranges, there's nothing, and all that cold air just comes straight down.
We're about an hour left in the boil, just a little more than an hour. Just give you a heads up.
All right, so 30 minutes till we add the next set of hops then.
Right, a little more
Okay.
than that, yeah. Yeah, we're still working down.
We're just gonna put Canada in here. Oh, wait a minute.
You have a maps program, don't you?
Yeah, somewhere on here. You can tell how much I use this phone. All right, zooming out. Yeah, that's fine. Out. Okay. I gotta find where I am and what is this?
Coming at me now. What do you do?
I-35. I-90. I have no idea where. Oh, Minneapolis. Okay.
You're like, I don't know where I'm at.
All right, there we go. There's Montana, where I grew up. All right, and above Montana is Saskatchewan. I was right. It is Saskatchewan.
Okay.
And then to the west of Saskatchewan
He's probably
is...
butchering the name, isn't he? He didn't hear me.
Saskatchewan. Obviously, a lot of Chinese there. Saskatchewan. No Canadian is ever going to watch our broadcast.
I know, this is
ever
like
again.
these guys.
Stupid Americans. All right. You know what? You make fun of us, too. We can take
As you can tell, the beer's probably kicking in. So I know it's kicking in for me.
In any case, so I think it's probably in western Alberta because that looks kind of mountainous. It is. In any case, my dad's friend, he was American, but they moved to Canada. Maybe Billy's wife was Canadian or something. Anyways, they moved to Canada. All right, so that's cool. And we went up there to visit them. So we're hanging out. We're in the mountains, for sure, in the mountains. And I wanted to go fishing. And I was 5? Maybe 6?
Oh, wee lad.
I was small. I was confident, right? And so I said, can I go fishing somewhere? And Billy, not knowing how confident I was, said, yes. Just over that hill's a pond. All right, well, he was talking about a lake. And that hill was a range of mountains, not a singular hill.
No,
like lots of mountains. You got to go up over those mountains. So young Jamie faced north and started walking.
You're looking for the bond.
Piss out of my parents.
Did they whoop your ass for that one?
They did not, because they were really scared.
They're just more glad that you were found. Yeah.
So not only did I get lost in the Canadian Rockies, but I've been hitchhiking in Canada, and I have been arrested by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Get out of here. Are you serious?
Absolutely. The family that picked me up took me to the police station.
We found this American kid just wandering.
Oh, heck yeah. And so they took me to the police station, and of course, at this point, The cops had no idea how to get a hold of my parents. It's like,
You're 5. You have a cell phone, you know?
Right, and this was before nobody had a cell
This would have
phone.
been, what, 1982 or something like that?
Yes,
you know?
we're talking like
Or even earlier,
81,
probably.
82. It was a long time ago. Anyhow, yeah, I ended up at the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Station and somehow managed to get found.
Jeez. Well, your folks or their friends probably say, "Hey, we should check with the police." You know, the
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure that's how they tracked you. You know.
Yeah, and that's where I developed my notion that strawberry pop is the international police drink.
Oh, they had that too, huh?
No, because I once got lost in Frankfurt, Germany.
This guy for real?
I did. So when I was young, I was a good singer. I'm a professional musician, by the way. Look me up on the internet. Jamey. Thank you. Okay, so
Isn't that your last name?
Aston, like the car, Aston Martin, which I'll own one someday. By the time I own one, it's going to be an electric go-kart, but I'm still going to own one.
I think you should.
Or it'll be an old dinosaur one that I can't drive because it takes gasoline and they haven't produced gasoline in 14 years.
Stuff you're talking about.
Regardless, yes,
Frankfurt.
JAMEYASTON. Go check it out. I'm on all the socials. And by all, I mean Twitter and Facebook.
But not Twitch yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I'm on Twitch.
Oh, you are not. Yeah,
but I don't
we're
do
not
anything on
as
Twitch. It's like I got this Twitch thing and I never use it. I should use it because apparently it's kind of popular. Regardless.
It is. Just be careful with background music you play, if ever, because
did you miss the part where I'm a professional musician and I could? We're gonna write some of our own music for this.
I'm being facetious, by the way.
So. In any case, I ended up. So we're in Germany. My parents enrolled me in the Helena Boy Choir, which is a really good boy choir, at least at the time. I imagine it's still pretty good, but it's not like the Vienna Boy Choir, international, top-notch, amazing boarding school style, but still good boy choir, like quality music, well done stuff. And they were a touring choir, and every other year they would go to a different country. And when I was in, the country was Germany.
Oh, okay.
And Austria. We went to Germany and Austria. And we went on a tour. We're going somewhere, and we wore tan slacks and red sweaters, which I hated, but looking back, it's like that makes sense because you can find a red tan. Well, as it so happens, that there was one gentleman in Germany who liked to wear a red sweater and tan slacks.
Oh.
So we go down into the subway. I look at the cards, at the postcards on one of those spinning trees. I'm like, oh, I better catch up with my group. I look up. I find the red sweater and the tan slacks, and I go follow him. I follow him, and he turns around. It's like, you are no one I have ever seen in my entire life. And so then I go up the stairs. So I go back to the credit card, to the postcard tree. Did you know that most postcard trees look almost identical?
I did, actually.
Yeah, well, I didn't at the age of 8. And so I thought that I'd found where I'd come in. I had not. So I go up the stairs, and I'm in Frankfurt, baby. Didn't speak a lick of German. Not even a lick. And I am lost.
Like, uh-oh.
Frankfurt police. And strawberry pop.
Good.
Obviously,
glad they attended to your thirst needs.
Yes. Obviously, I was found again, and yeah, here we are.
Did you tell them Dankeschön?
Did you catch the lick of German, not a lick?
Facetious.
I sang some German songs, but they were just sounds that came out of my
you
mouth.
Didn't know what you were saying. You were just saying stuff.
Why
did that dim?
Why did what dim?
Our monitoring.
I don't know.
I don't like the way it does that, because now I have no idea what's happening in our feed.
We can log on.
I mean, I guess a tiny little one in the corner, but it's hard to see though. That was live. That's actually not delayed. So
yeah, it kind of seems like that happens occasionally when things. The thing that I don't know is whether, I mean, this still seems to be working. I don't know. Let's check it out. After all, when you are the most professional broadcast this side of the Columbia River,
all right.
Seriously,
I know.
I hate being forced updates. Okay, fine, update, fine, update. Now we'll just sit here and update. We'll wait for it. Oh, that's kind of. Oh.
I don't think he likes updates.
Okay, open. I don't mind updating. I hate forced updating. It's like if I want to use a 1970s version of this software, I will. All right, there. You're watching us.
Hey, another viewer. Oh, wait, it's us.
Watching us. Yep. And this, my friend, is what you call a feedback loop.
I was about to say. What happened there?
Well, what happened is, so there's a lag, obviously, because it has to go out. You know all about this. Goes to the server, it has to get processed, and then put out to the world. And then in this case, it comes all the way back. These are things that you know, being a software engineer. And then, but maybe we need to stop drinking.
Semicolon.
Do you want me to take your beer away, Steve?
Oh, no.
Okay. Better be. How much time do we have left?
Just under an hour. Well, 30 minutes till actual, 30 minutes till the actual next hop.
So 30 minutes until we add the next set of hops? Okay, gotcha. So feedback loop is simple. The sound comes out of here, gets picked up by that microphone.
Wait, how was that? Okay, just want to make sure.
I'll do it one more time for clarity. Gets pumped out of my phone, out of the speakers.
And it
gets picked up
again.
by the microphone.
Right, it's like the mirror to mirror.
Yes,
it just keeps going
exactly.
and going. Yeah.
Goes back out and stuff. Now in this case, because of the processing delay, it doesn't get really bad. But if you've ever heard a microphone squeal, you know, where they turn up.
Oh yeah, feedback. Yeah.
That's because that happens really fast because the sound. That's why they call it a feedback loop, because the speaker produces a sound, the microphone picks up that sound, pushes it through the system. The speaker produces the sound, the microphone picks up that sound. But with like if you're in like just a regular.
Well, it's the same idea of like when someone calls a radio station, they're like, "Hey, can you turn your radio down?" So it's not picking up the.
Yeah, they're like,
stuff, you know?
Turn your radio down. Just talk with us on the phone.
Right.
There's a couple reasons for that. Number one is the feedback loop, and the other one is it is amazing how distracted and you
well,
won't
there's usually
do
a delay
well
as well too.
talking on the phone. It's like just talk with us. So
I know a lot of radio programs have delays in them for censorship
Test.
reasons. You know, that way if someone drops a bomb, you know, they can boot.
okay, so we got test there. Let's see if it shows up there.
Yeah, it's just we're stuck. We always get stuck in that frame.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
So we're still working. It's just
The one thing, yeah, the video.
I think.
The video capture in that particular part of the website is not working as well.
Look, 8 people have watched this. Oh wait, one of them is us.
I already used that joke.
I know.
Okay. I don't even think my daughter watches this anymore. She's probably like, yeah, same old stuff. You know?
Yeah, she doesn't need to support us.
I know, it's funny.
It's okay.
I think it was more of a courtesy that she was helping us with. You know?
Is this the one we sold?
No, we didn't sell any of my children.
Okay, good.
So. It's a joke, people. It's a joke.
joke.
Nobody's selling anybody's children.
No.
We were jokingly
buying?
we were jokingly talking about trying to find a way to fund something. I forget what it was. You know.
It was wine coolers, wine freezer, wine refrigerators that have controlled temperature.
That's right.
So that we could do a controlled temperature beer.
Do a lager type thing, yeah.
Right, because we're thinking. So with our latest experimental batch, what we changed was an ingredient, and we changed the timing of the ingredient. So a hop schedule being when you add the hops. So this is a 90-minute boil, which is a long boil, by the way.
Longer than typical, an hour.
Usually they're an hour.
Yeah.
But your hop schedule refers to when you add the hops. And
in the context of remaining time on the boil, just
right,
clarify.
the way that I don't want to say the industry, the community, because home brewing is not an industry.
Yeah, it's community.
It's a community. So the home brewing community, the way they express these things is, let's say it's a 90-minute boil. So at minute 90, that's the very beginning. You add your first set of hops. In this case, East Kent Goldings with 5% alpha acids. Ours have 4.7% alpha acids, 4.2% alpha acids. So this is going to taste nothing like it's a failure already. Oh my goodness. You might as well, no, don't quit. Such trials, you must forge ahead.
Don't quit.
Never quit.
I see you.
I'll be back.
No, I'm just going to get it. I was going to get this.
I'll get it.
Okay.
We're good.
Jimmy has a beer deficiency as well as I. So he's going to go get the other growler of our Irish Red we made a while back and top us off. So yeah, what he was saying was you kind of think backwards when you're talking about your hop schedule. If it says 90 minute, 60 minute, 15 minute, think the 90 minute is the start of the boil. The 60 minute is 60 minutes remaining. The 15 minutes is 15 minutes remaining. So just a little food for thought there if you're ever curious. The closer to the end of the boil, you put your hops in, the more aroma it's going to have. So if you put hops in at 0.0, like literally when it comes out the flame, it's going to have the strongest hop aroma. Flavoring hops tend to be between 30 and 15 minutes, and then
closer to 15.
Bittering hops are the ones that go in first because you boil off most of that hoppiness, and what remains are the bittering agents that actually kind of balance with the other grains of the beer. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Keep going.
Oh no, I was done. I was done with that. Just to give Silver some basic hop knowledge there, you know.
You know what I didn't know is that if you didn't add the hops, your beer would taste kind of sweet and syrupy.
Right. That's why the bittering hops at the beginning balance it out. Yeah. Because if you think about it, without the hops, you added all those sugars in it from your malt extracts, or if you do your own extraction, it's going to be sweet.
Right.
When you do the bittering hops at the 60-minute mark or 90-minute in our case, balance that flavor out, and they actually, remove some of that sweetness so that your beer doesn't taste like candy. And he went inside. So. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, man, sorry about that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
See, because what I always thought was the yeast ate up all the sugars, and that's what got rid of the sweet flavor.
Well, the yeast does consume the sugars, but there's still flavor in there. You know what I mean? It doesn't eat all the sugars. So.
Right. Well, anyways, I'm saying that's what I thought.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't realize that the hops were so important to making the bitter part of things.
Right. I don't know why exactly, but I think it has something to do with when we made that Roquefort 8, why it just tasted so sweet. Something, either we screwed up our hop schedule or something, because we made I think it was called a Rockport 8, but it's based off a old
Rockfish 8 off the Rockfish grill.
Right. But it's based off an old monastic kind of recipe called
Trappist monks
style.
Yeah,
and
I mean they're still a brewery. I mean,
okay, right.
Right. So the Roquefort 8 is famous.
Okay. Roquefort 8 is like the original brew.
It's a dark Belgian.
The Rockfish 8 was the local recipe that we purchased. Yeah, a Belgian dark. And when we made it, it was good. It was high octane, like 8-point-something%.
Yeah, you didn't want to drive after you drank one of those. That was for sure.
But both of us detected kind of a black cherry flavor. In the end, you take a drink, you're like, it had this kind of sweet black cherry flavor. In fact, even the beer itself had a very dark red kind of hue to it. It was dark like a soda, but it had a little bit of a reddish color in it. I thought,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it was good, but it was a little bit too sweet for my preferences.
Well, and they like to talk about complex. It's a complex beer. It's like, no, it's sugary and it's not hoppy enough.
Yeah, this is by no means a hoppy beer at all.
I'm obviously less forgiving than you are.
And it was I don't think it was meant to be hoppy.
Well, no, I don't think the Belgians are. You have a white Belgian, they're not
hoppy at all. Yeah, they're kind of they're kind of like a wheat beer. Those white Belgians or Belgian white, I guess.
Yeah, Belgian white, Belgian.
Yeah,
Belgian is the first word. You're right.
I like Belgian whites, but they're a little bit more malty than I prefer in a beer.
Yeah.
I'm more of an IPA pale ale guy. I like the clear, crisp beers. I do like hazies. Don't get me wrong. Hazy IPAs are great too. But as far as body of the beer, Belgian whites are just not my first choice. I'll drink them, of course, but I just, if I could choose something else, I will.
But sometimes the food you're eating with it, and I'm not a big pairing guy. I'm the same. I'll eat chocolate chip cookies and drink Coors Light in the same day.
Because you're a drummer, so drummers drink beer and eat chocolate. You didn't know that? Duh. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. I probably am.
It's because you are crazy. It's just I did not know this about myself. I mean, I knew I was a drummer.
Think about it. Chocolate and beer together is typically not a good. At least not. Let me reframe this. Chocolate and American yellow fizzy lager is probably not very good. Like most people wouldn't eat a Hershey's bar and drink a Coors with it,
right?
Or Budweiser or that other stuff that's just
but I would.
not so good. But he would. Because
My mouth knows how to compartmentalize.
no, being a drummer has something to do with it. That's an old inside joke from some. Now I'm losing my speech from some family. So.
But the point is that it was that double bock that we bought that was entirely too sweet.
Oh yeah, that thing was awful.
That was almost
almost
sweet.
A drain pour, man. Yeah, we bought this. I forget where it's from. I know we picked up at our local, kind of a
specialty
brew store, and we used to do that a lot. We'd go buy just random beers we had never had before. Let's try this, let's try that, because this place would let you buy single pints or single bottles.
We still go there occasionally and do exactly that.
And so Jamie picked up this double bock one time, thinking it might be good, and we both tried it. We were just like, whoa, no,
it was not good. Sugary sweet. It wasn't just like.
Think like Captain Crunch in a beer bottle. I mean, it was awful.
Yeah, that's pretty close. That's a good
Fruity
description
Pebbles in a bottle. And yeah, it almost went down the drain. We were like, no, we could do this. We'll just finish it.
Yeah. But that's kind of our thing, though, is that we like to, when we're not drinking our own beers, because we love to drink our own beers, because then we pat ourselves on the back.
Why wouldn't we?
Tell ourselves we're so awesome.
Good job.
Oh, no. Right. But when we do run out of beer, which we try not to, but it does happen, we would, instead of buying, we really like our specialty store because you can buy one 22-ounce beer or sometimes an 8-ounce beer or a 12-ounce beer or whatever, but you can buy one. And so instead of having a 6-pack of beer that you just detest, which that happened, that chocolate chip cookie beer.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't. Sweet. It wasn't supposed to be chocolate chip cookies, but it tasted like chocolate chip cookies, which I realize is weird because I just said that I can eat chocolate chip cookies and drink beer at the same time. But that doesn't mean I want my beer to taste like chocolate chip cookies because my mouth compartmentalizes.
Wow. Okay.
But the point being, that was nasty. Do you remember that stuff?
Yeah, it was.
Gross.
It wasn't good at all.
It was. We actually poured it down the drain.
Did we pour that one?
We did, yeah. Which, man, we hardly ever.
Sometimes some of those singles are like $8 just by themselves. It's just like, whoa.
But that was a 6-pack from the store.
Oh, okay.
And that's why. And I was getting up. That's why we like this place.
Right.
Because
you can get singles. Yeah.
You can get a single, and then if you do drain pour it, it's like, all right, you're pouring 12 ounces of beer, and you don't feel like you've created some sin against the universe. Whereas if you buy a 6-pack, you just look at that 6-pack and feel regret.
Right. We've had the same experience with even non-sweet beers. Some of the IPAs we've tried, I swear they rang out a Christmas tree into a bottle, and it was just like, oh, too tiny,
There was that one that was just, it was malty. It was like all the wrong ways.
Why does this beer burn my throat?
Yeah. So we've had some bad beers, none that we've made.
Totally biased for ourselves,
No, not at all. We're just great beer makers.
Right.
It's amazing. We should sell this stuff under the whole "you don't know what you're gonna get" title, because that's still true.
Each batch is different.
Did you document about how we kegged? Did you? You did not.
Because we kegged just like we keg any other beer.
Okay, so I guess there's not much reason to document.
Yeah, not this time. I mean, when you keg it, we didn't adjust anything with the kegging process. Right. We just siphoned beer into the keg.
Right.
It wasn't like
I know.
temperature. I was like
being silly.
I was like, wait, are you serious? There was nothing to document on that one.
But we actually did. I'm proud. I'm proud of Steve, because I reminded Steve to document. But with our experimental batch, which we just kegged yesterday, we did. So we could realistically make that exact Citra hop beer again.
We could, yeah.
If
we like it.
Most of our beers, we couldn't make them again because we weren't careful. Kind of like now. Yeah, although we're being fairly careful.
We're following a recipe in this case, so I mean, it's already kind of documented for you.
I've got it saved in my favorite.
I think the documentation is more important when you start, when you select your own grains and select your own hops. You're like, okay, this is what we're going to do this time. Whether you know what the end result's going to be close to or not, then you want to document what you're doing, because you're like, what if you make that ideal, just perfect beer? This on total chance you happen to make it. You're like, oh, I'll try this amount of this, this amount of that, this amount of that. Let's do it. You do your process, and it's just like, oh, nectar. And someone says, hey, why don't you make me some of that? You're going to have no idea what you did. Unless you're just really good at remembering all that stuff.
Which nobody is.
We're not.
Anybody who says they are lies.
So yeah, the point of documenting your beers, especially when you do your own recipes or you experiment, you want to make sure you write down things like what grains you used, what amounts, what temperatures things were, what times things were when you added stuff. It's all important, especially if you want to make it repeatable. So.
Yeah, right. Which of course that's what the commercial breweries do.
But what I really want to
make
do
the same thing every
right.
time, and that's why. So when you buy a moose roll, it's going to taste like a moose roll.
I want to move beyond just altering someone's recipe to actually just looking at the grain tables and going, okay, if I get 2 pounds of this, 2 pounds of this, and a pound of this, and then pick the kind of hops. Well, it's not that you don't have to be that careful. We can actually go a little faster than just one thing at a time. How long it's going to take us if we alter one thing at a time?
The rest of our lives.
We're going to be like 60 and barely getting into, personal recipes.
Look, dude, I'm scared. Okay, so I want to know what's, what this is like. This is like coding. You want to have someday? We should have a broadcast where I ask Steve questions about coding.
Oh no.
Fun for me, fun for you. Absolute frustration for him. Because I usually ask why questions until we get down to the, okay, look, a 1 means 1 volt and a 0 actually means half a volt. All right, we're in binary. I don't know why this is. It's like, well, why is it never 0 volts, Steve? Thankfully, he has restraint and has not hit me yet.
I wouldn't want to. I'm not violent.
Unlike my other best friend, John Johnson, who has definitely given me black eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, when we were
Did you have it coming?
I probably did. I remember once John's mom, because I gave John, I don't know if I gave him a black eye or a fat lip. I punched him hard.
Real quick, less than 15 minutes into our next hops. So while you're telling the story, I'm going to go grab the hops and get it ready.
Oh.
It's kind of the other packet.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just like it's 13 minutes. The fridge is only 100 feet away, if that.
So far.
Go, slow one. No, go. Get the hops. Get the hops. You're already up. You've already gone off camera. You can't go. I was actually telling the story to you, not to. No, go.
No.
I'm not.
I was being rude.
I'm done.
Let's hear the story.
And okay, fine. So me and John.
This is what we do.
Me and John got in a fist fight for some odd reason.
Right.
And I don't know why we got in the fist fight because it happened long ago. But I popped him good and gave him a fat lip or a black eye or something. And John was a beautiful child. I mean,
he was one of those, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's a gruff, portly old man now. He's like a couple years younger than me, but right. So he's not such a beautiful man. I'm sure his wife loves him, but he was a beautiful child. John, I mean, he had like the toe head, like white blonde hair. He was skinny and all this. And in any case, so I made her beautiful child ugly because I popped him. When she came in, she got into me. Why are you giving my child a dinner? And the thing you have to understand is that Diane had full parental rights, as per my mother, over me. Like, if she'd have said, I'm going to beat you now, there's nothing I could have done about it. Your mom would have been
like, go ahead.
Yeah, would you like to borrow my drumstick? I keep breaking wooden spoons. My husband is a music teacher. Drumsticks work wonderful. Here you are, Diane. He'll be screaming in 3 strokes.
Nice.
But yeah, I definitely lots of fist fights. I lost a lot.
That's part of growing up,
And I almost won some.
That's part of growing up.
Yeah. But you haven't hit me yet, and I appreciate that because
I'm never going to hit you, man.
Okay, you say that now. Let's talk about
to drive me to hit you. It would have to be something just terrible.
I would never go that. I would never go
right,
that.
And I know you wouldn't do that. We're buds. You would never do that. So that's what getting frustrated and talking about code would never drive me to hit you, man.
Right. But it is funny because I do ask a lot of why questions. And what this is getting around to is the fact that I'm like one thing at a time. Because it's interesting. Steve is the detail-oriented guy, right? He's the one who's like, look, man, I'm like, it's sanitized enough. He's like, you waved the bleach bottle at it from 15 feet. That's not sanitized. I'm like, nah, it'll be fine. Good. It'll be fine. We're gonna boil it anyways. It's okay. So that's me, right? But at the same time, I want to know what each thing does. And the reason I bring up the code is because I ask the same questions here. He'll throw out a term, whether he's working in React Native or Node, Java Node script. No, wait, I got this one. It's Node, Node, help me.
Node.js.
Node.js. I was almost there. I was almost
close. You
there.
were close.
Or Apache, or
oh no, I don't use Apache. Nope.
Look, I'm just throwing out languages that I know. Okay, stop cutting me off at the knees here.
Okay, continue.
The point being is I ask him a lot of questions that go beyond what's needed. An analogy would be if I were building a car and the guy's like, well, here, use this tire. And I ask him, well, what is the chemical composition of the rubber of the tire?
Doesn't matter.
That's Steve's reaction. It does matter, folks. You want the best rubber on your tires. All right, so you need to know the chemical.
What?
I don't know. I think you're putting
I said I'm sure glad you said tire.
Okay. Well, yeah. This is a family show, dude.
Kind of.
We regularly have 11-year-olds watching. They're all your family members, but we still have 11-year-olds.
Well, yeah, we used to. I don't think they watch anymore.
That's okay. I don't blame them. I mean, this is not interesting for an 11-year-old. No. I don't know if this is interesting for a 40-year-old, but I'm having a good time doing it, and it's free, so let's keep going.
Yeah. All right, continue, please. Tires,
rubber tires, chemical composition. The point being, I ask questions like that, and you should have the best rubber on your tires, and the best way to know what kind of rubber is on your tires is to know the chemical composition of it. Anyways, it's a lot of fun for me, and I'm always like mentally gauging how far I can push Steve. It's just like, I don't want to talk about it, but you know what's fun? You know how I know that my buddy Steve is passionate about software engineering? I'll tell you how, because he'll come over and say, I don't want to talk about code. I'm like, okay, so we won't for 20 minutes. And I'll wait, kind of like a shark circling its prey. And I'll be around and around. Then I'll see my opening. It'll usually be something very innocuous. It'll be like, well, what language do they write that in? 45 minutes later, Steve stops talking. 45 minutes. And all I have to say is,
Totally baits me, man. Totally baits me.
Occasionally throw out a word like functionality, which I have no idea what that means. He's been saying functionality to me for, I don't know,
12 years.
12 years now? He's like, well, it's the functionality. I'm like, I do this. Yes, I see. I don't see. I'm just putting on a face because I'm just like, I've been trying for 12 years to understand this vague term of functionality.
You know, I'm getting buzzed. I keep checking my phone because I forget what the time was.
Okay, we don't need to get
minutes.
drunk on the show. Okay,
no, I
a little buzz.
All right, I'm just getting more. I guess not really drunk, but I'm just getting buzzed. And I'm paranoid about the time. I don't want to go over the time.
No, I don't want to go over the time either because I still want this to be a good beer.
Right. We have about 6.5 minutes before we're ready to put the 30-minute.
All right,
30-minute hops in. So.
Did you get the hops?
No,
you didn't. I stopped you.
We were having fun. Go ahead. You tell the story now.
Well, that
was it.
Didn't I finish the story? I finished the story, and now I just did want to say that it seems like I'm getting made fun of here, and you are supposed to be the sidekick. Remember, we had this discussion off camera. You're the sidekick. You're the comic relief.
Reverse psychology.
Go get the hops. Go get the hops.
I'm going.
Thank you.
How's your beer?
We're good for now, man. I've got quite a bit.
All right. The second hop edition is actually the same thing. So same kind of hops.
Yeah, I knew that. That's from, but it just goes in at the 30-minute mark. Yeah. So this is, man, there's not going to be a lot of aroma to this, if you think about it.
No, it's not. It's going to be not hoppy at all. I mean, well, it's a Newcastle clone, which is a brown ale, so it shouldn't be. It should be malty.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking with Ben when we were doing the experimental beer, and I remember I was like, so we were thinking we'd start with the Temptation Ale, which
Right.
is their generic, that's their recipe, and they've given it a name, Temptation Ale, which I'm glad they gave it a name like that instead of Unicorn Blood or something dumb. You know, Terry's beers are okay, but his beer titles are horrible.
Well, yeah, I think he's trying to keep it in context because the name of his brewery,
Wicked Two-Tone.
kind of a fantasy name, you know. So
I guess, but I don't know. The beers are good. They're not bad at all, but yeah. Anyways, Temptation Ale. It's a good family name. You can say Temptation Ale and Mixed Company, and nobody will be upset.
right.
So, anyways, I suggested to Ben or Trevor, whichever one I was talking with on the phone. I said, yeah, we were thinking about adding Citra hops at like the 30-minute mark. And he's like, I'm thinking if you do it then, you're really not going to see any
Not
effect.
going to get the effect of it. Yeah.
Yep. And that was where, because I asked him, I picked his brain. I was like, well, what would you do? He's like, if I were to do what you're doing, he said, I would add it at the 0 minute, which is what we did.
Get max effect or max aroma.
Max aroma, right. So those hops didn't add a lot of flavor really to the beer, but they definitely, you're right. I mean, when you smell it, it's like, woo, orange juice beer. Nice.
Orange juice beer, yeah.
That's what it smelled like to me yesterday.
Yeah, it did. It definitely had the citrusy smell. I mean, it tasted different. It had a different flavor.
It had a different flavor. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be really good once it's carbed.
All right.
You know, because the carbonation changes the acidity.
True. It does.
You know?
It does.
It makes it more acidic, so it reduces the pH. So that'll be, I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to these when they're done. 2 more weeks.
Yeah, 2 more weeks. But we're going to do it right, man. We're going to wait. We're going to let it go its full time. I'm really happy because my manifold and everything and the kegs are not leaking. It's something I'm always stressing that I got a CO2 leak somewhere in the system.
3 minutes left. 3 minutes left before the pops.
Okay. I'm always stressing that.
Yeah. No, you should, man, because it's a waste of CO2.
Which costs money.
It costs money, yeah.
Right. It's like, yeah. So ordinarily we save money by making special. Because that's, if you drink fizzy American beers, Coors Light, Coors, Budweiser, Bud Light, you're not going to save money doing this. Because this kit, what are we doing? The Newcastle Chrome. This kit costs $38.
38.
39, I think. Right? After taxes. So it's $40. It's 5 gallons of beer.
Oh, yeah.
Now, a case of Newcastle cost me like $45.
Yeah, you said about $45.
So a case
but that's only 12 ounces. I mean, 12 12-ounce beers. So
right. Is that 12-ounce beers?
Is that what a case is? Are you talking
about 12-ounce
yeah.
beers. Yeah. So that would be...
It would be 144 ounces of beer. So we're actually saving money by doing it this way.
Right. That's my point. This way, you're saving money. Well, yeah. At the end analysis, it's close to a wash, but you're pretty much saving money. Right?
Right.
But Coors Light...
5 gallons out of this, you know what I mean?
Right. You're getting 5. But Coors Light is, if you catch it on sale, is like $12.99 for a case.
Right.
It's like, okay, now you're not saving money at all.
Now, you try to make a Coors Light, which I don't know why you would do that, but if you try to make a Coors Light, yeah, you're not saving money.
I've seen clones.
Because the kit's probably going to be $30, $40,
Yeah, and it's just.
But then again, I mean, think about it. A case of Coors Light's what, $12.99?
On sale. I mean, I think it's more like $15.
If you buy 5 gallons worth of Coors Light, you're still not spending. You're spending more than $45 or $40. So you are saving money, but not it's not as effective as you might think. I guess maybe we're kind of. I think we're off a little bit. You know what I mean?
So a gallon is what? 828 ounces.
128 ounces.
Yeah, it's 32 times 4.
Right, 128 ounces.
128 ounces.
Right.
So a case is a little more than a gallon.
One case, yeah.
Right.
So multiply it by 5, then okay, I guess maybe you multiply the $12.99 by 5.
Right.
And you're going to spend anywhere it's about $70 for the beer, give or take, right? 13 times 5.
Yeah, you're right.
So
$65
So
for 5
if
gallons.
you buy a Coors Light kit for $35, you are still saving money.
Right.
At least for the kit alone. Maybe not if you try to factor in everything else like the propane, the water. I don't know. I mean, if you want to get that detailed.
But now let's take.
All right, this is ready.
Let's take some of the more expensive. I got it. Take some of your more expensive beers, where they're costing $11 for a 12-pack or a 6-pack.
Oh, I know.
There's some of those.
That's where it becomes more cost effective, definitely. Like Ballast Point, that's like 6-pack is like, even at the Navy Exchange on the base, man, it was like $15 or something like that.
Is it worth it?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
it didn't blow my skirt up flavor wise. We have to start
well, we still got half an hour, dude.
I just don't want us to lose track, man, that's all. Oh. All right. Yeah, this one's a little weird because 90-minute boil definitely adds a extra dynamic to it,
Well, it's really gonna. I mean, those bittering hops are really. I don't know. It's not gonna make it more bitter, is it?
I don't think so.
I mean,
it's just not going to be hoppy. It's not going to have a.
It's gonna get rid of a lot of the hops.
It's not supposed to have a hop flavor.
No, I mean, right. And if we were to go steal one of my wife's Newcastles right now, it wouldn't taste hoppy at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that you lose a lot of the aromas and a lot of the flavors, and that just leaves the bittering thing. Well, what happens to tea if you steep it too long? It gets more bitter, right?
Right, because it's the grains or the tea leaves are exposed to the water longer, so more is released from them, you know what I mean?
Right. So I'm thinking probably the same. So I think it is going to increase the bittering amount.
Well, yeah, it should be bitter, but it's not going to taste bitter. It's just going to balance it with the sweetness, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to taste sweet. It's going to taste like
that was a lot
beer.
of sugar we dumped in here.
Oh, it's crazy.
I mean, maybe it's just because it was dry malt and so it looked like a lot, but man, it looked like a lot.
It did. It looked like
It
a
was
lot.
super foamy. Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
It was crazy foamy.
Yeah, nice boil. Right back to that nice rolling boil. Get in there, ops. Mix up, thank you.
We're reaching the point where we're running out of subject matter
I know.
to talk about.
Usually when they're not even getting hit puberty. Usually when we reach this point, we usually stop the broadcast because then we just kind of finish the job,
Right. Well, we're an hour in, right?
So, yeah, we're beyond that.
That's usually when we stop, is right at the
hour, yeah,
at the hour mark.
So we have 27 minutes remaining on the boil.
Right. Haven't had any comments in a while.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if we saw anybody watching.
Well, we had one more view since we logged on because we were number 8 and now we're up to 9. So somebody might surf through and
Come
stuff.
in and out. Yep. So we can either call it and just finish the brewing, or keep broadcasting. Now it doesn't matter to me.
I don't know.
Whatever
What do you
works.
think?
I just know soon we're gonna have to prep our rest of our equipment and get it rinsed and staged, so that we can get it in the fermenter. Which we need to rinse the fermenter, and also it's been sanitized.
Oh yeah, we do need to do that, don't we?
Yep.
Tell you what, I think, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and any small underage people who might be trying to brew beer, I think that's going to be it for today. We've been
It's
going.
not illegal if a minor brews beer. It's only illegal if they consume it, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know. I mean, it could be illegal. I really don't know.
So you heard it here, folks. Get those kids
You might
brewing. They brew, you drink.
You might want to check your local laws, because I don't know what your local laws dictate.
Nah, it'll be fine. Get your kids brewing; they'll love it. It's a great hobby. It'll take them far in life. All right, but I think you got a good point. We're up at 2 hours and 23 minutes and 52 seconds and counting, obviously. So I think we're good. For those of you that might be watching on the replay, hey, check in. We'll be here next week. Not next week. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now. We're going to be brewing again, and it'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk about whatever we want to talk about because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Kind of focus around the beer. If you want to learn, great. If you know more than us, make sure you chime in and let us know what you know, because we are always all about learning. We're learning every day. This is super lots of fun. This is going to be awesome, especially if it turns out right, because then I can just brew this and not constantly buy Newcastles.
Almost for $50 for a 12-pack.
Mm.
Nuts, man. That's nuts.
And it's stupid expensive. It is good beer, though. I don't know of anybody who doesn't like Newcastle beer. All right, folks. Thank you very much. And as I always say, relax.
Have a homebrew.